The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with White and Mackay, where wit, wisdom and experience still make occasional last-minute appearances. Smoothly does it.
With Betfred, when you bet £10, you get £50 in free bets. So, want to back your new striker to score the first goal? Your midfield maestro to get the assist? Want to say there'll be a header? Want to see their striker caught offside? He was born offside. Want to predict the final score? Or both teams to score? Want to get involved for 90 minutes? Want to nick it in extra time? Want to bet £10 and get £50 in free bets? Want to bet? Betfred. New online customers only. 5 £10 free bets. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Breakups, that is a tricky one. That's why EE is the only major provider who'll give you up to £300 to switch. You'll get full fibre, but you'll also get EE's most powerful Wi-Fi 7 as standard. So the whole house can do more, like streaming that series whilst your work calls stay crystal clear. Switch to EE today.
Up to £300 credited to your EE account. Verify at ee.co.uk/claims. New BT Group customers only. 62% availability terms apply.
The all-new, all-electric Toyota CHR Plus. Sleek, stylish and quietly reliable. Available with 0% APR representative with £1,500 deposit contribution and save £1,500 with the electric car grant. Get that Toyota electric feeling. Visit your nearest Toyota centre. Price from 34495. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 30th of June 2026. Optional final payment. Indemnities may be required. See website T's and C's apply.
An engineer round the corner whenever you need. Scottish Gas have over 6,000. En route at speed. Fixing lights that won't light or have started to blink. A pipe with a leak and that weird smell under the sink. If your boiler's kaput and your blue fur needs a rinse, we've got your back to stop that cold water wince. You don't need to be a customer. We can help you too, taking care of things. It's what Scottish Gas do. T's and C's apply. 6,000 engineers correct as of Jan 2026.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard as the Scottish Premiership returns after the international break. Rangers can go top of the table for the first time in 2 years if they beat Dundee United before Hearts and Celtic play tomorrow. Falkirk can seal a place in the top 6 if they get anything at Fir Park, or indeed Dundee United lose that game at Ibrox. Stephen Robinson takes Aberdeen back to Paisley, and it's Hibs against Kilmarnock as well, all in the company of Gordon Dalziel, Cammy and Hugh Keevins.
Storm Dave's on the way, but it's got nothing on the power of today's fixture list. Danny Rowell says that Rangers have the quality to win the Premiership title. He'll get the chance to prove it against Dundee United. At Ibrox, you could possibly hear the booing in Paisley when Stephen Robertson takes Aberdeen to his old club St Mirren for a relegation battle. And speaking of which, Kilmarnock could really do with taking something from their match against Hibs at Easter Road. And can Falkirk officially tie up a top 6 place by maintaining their unbeaten run against Motherwell this season? Batten down the hatches, Daz.
Yeah, we say it most weeks now, but we certainly are very much at the business end of the season. A lot of excitement ahead. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I think there's some cracking fixtures. Will there be twists and turns? I think they will. I think there'll be twists and turns in the top 6, the bottom 6. I'm looking for some great games, and obviously a chance, as you said, Gordon, from a long time Rangers to go top of the table, put a bit of pressure on Hearts and Celtic tomorrow. And Stephen Robinson going back to St Mirren. What sort of reception will he receive?
Yeah, really looking forward to today. A brilliant fixture list ahead of us. Rangers, when you look at that game at Ibrox, massive game for them. Huge incentive in front of them to go top of the table. Can they get the job done? Question marks there. And then you look at the St Mirren game, St Mirren Aberdeen, that is a real tussle at the bottom end of the table, and you've got the Stephen Robinson factor in there as well. So really looking forward to this afternoon.
It has already been a season like no other, and the tension, the drama, the jeopardy promises to rise from now until the end of the campaign. And it all kicks off after a low-key international break. The top flight is indeed back with a bang. So let's go around the ground, starting at Ibrox. The chance to go top. Gabriel Antoniazzi has the teams for the visit of Dundee United.
Yes, Gordon, good afternoon from a very rainy Govan where Rangers have the chance to go top of the Premiership for the first time this season. What a turnaround that would prove to be for the club and manager Danny Rule, who took over with his team 13 points off leaders' hearts back in October. Of course, no prizes are given out for being top this evening, but it could be a huge psychological boost for this squad as we're now officially in the run-in. It could pile pressure on both Hearts and Celtic, who face tricky away games tomorrow. And as you said, it would be the first time they'd end the day top in 2 years. Something the supporters here would certainly more than welcome. And the German wants his players to retain the mindset of hunters, however, which is what they've been doing for the past few months. Their home form has just been so strong in the league, they'll be hoping to continue that today. For Dundee United, they still have very faint hopes of reaching the top six. They'll need to win their last 2 games and hope Falkirk above them lose both of theirs before the split, with a bit of a goal difference swing as well. They were, of course, brilliant last time out before the international break when they beat Celtic 2-0. Ended a decent month for Jim Goodwin's side. In all likelihood, they will be vying to be the best of the rest post-split. On to team news then, starting with the hosts. Yesterday, Rule said there was a mystery player who'll be missing for the next week or so. That's been revealed to be Tur Romans. The left-back is one of 4 changes to the team that beat Aberdeen 4-1 last time out. So Romans is out of the squad altogether. Chimiti, Fernandez and Tavernier drop to the bench. In comes Sterling, Suter, Magoma and Skov Olsen. So it looks like a change of shape as well. We've seen that 4-2-2 in recent weeks and perhaps months. It looks more of a 4-2-3-1 today. So it's Jack Butland in goal. Dujon Sterling, Nasser Jigger, John Suter, who's the captain today, and Jayden Magoma make up the back 4. Tochi Chukwani and Nico Raskin in midfield, with Andreas Skålsson, Telo Asgard and Mikey Moore behind Ryan Nadiri up top. Substitutes are Kelly, Fernandez, Tavernier, Gassama, Barron, Antman, Diamande, Miovski and Chimiti. The visitors are the opposite corner. Jim Goodwin sticks with the exact 11 that beat the champions 2 weeks ago. It's actually the 3rd game in a row the Terrors have been unchanged. They'll be playing 3-4-2-1 with Ashley Maynard Brewer in goal, Yuri Yovu, Ross Graham and Christian Karechtes as the back 3, Lucas Stevenson, Vitko Sevelj, Emmanuel Aguirre and Will Ferry across the midfield, Neil Faruja and Amar Fatah supporting Max Waters up top. Substitutes Richards, Strain, Kamara, Satsford, Esselink, Sibbald, Dolchek, Namu, Cleel Harding. The referee is John Beaton. Greg Aitken is on the VAR and kick-off is under an hour away.
Cannot wait for the return of the Scottish Premiership. Let's start specifically with the team news before we look at the bigger picture. Gordon Dalziel, there was a bit of suspense last night on the show. We were debating which player would the Rangers fans all secretly hope wasn't missing. Who was the mystery injury? It turns out to be Tur Romans, and I don't think that'll be one that the Rangers fans will be too happy about given how good he's been.
No, he's been absolutely brilliant since he came into the club in January, Gordon. I've got to say, I've been very impressed with him down that left side. So, yeah, certainly a big miss. Magoma comes in there. I don't think he done a lot wrong. But Romans just gives you that little bit of extra. Very interesting to see that he's went away from the 2 up top. Nadiri gets the spot this afternoon. Askar comes in there to try and provide some, stuff from the middle part, balls through the middle of the defence. He's trying to cut open defences. We know he's got a fantastic free kick in him. And then obviously Olsen, who's not been great, you've got to say, and Moore, who's been bang on for him in the wide areas. It's a good starting 11 for Rangers. Great opportunity, and I think they'll grasp it with both hands this afternoon.
Danny Rule, one of his dominant characteristics, I think, is the ability to change shape and personnel. And no one gets a chance to second guess what Rangers are going to do. I think that's why the 13-point gap that once existed between Rangers and Hearts has now evaporated, and I think it would be symbolic if Rangers went top tonight. Real big day for Danny Rule, because he inherited a mess and now it's not a mess.
Looking at the team though, Cammy, and just seeing some of the comments already, the Rangers fans obviously would have rather seen Tur Romans. Don't think there's any doubt. Emmanuel Fernandez is the first choice defender. Probably just feeling the effects of international football a little bit. Telo Asgard doesn't always start a lot of games. Chermiti's on the bench. It's Nadiri. If Rangers hadn't had the international break, if they'd played straight away after the Aberdeen game, that's not the team that would have played.
No, I don't think it is, and obviously Romans has got to be a huge miss for Rangers. Again, Magoma, I agree with that. He didn't do too much wrong, but I think the person that's came in front of him's done exceptional since he's came to the club. You look at the other players, I think you're right, Gordon, with regards to if the international break wasn't there, that wouldn't be the team that's going out and facing Dundee United today. But it's still a strong enough team for me. When you look at that team, that's strong enough to go and win a game at Ibrox, absolutely, against Dundee United. It's got the quality there. Yes, you look at Suter in for Fernandes, but it's an opportunity for John Suter. It's an opportunity for him to go out, get a clean sheet, have a solid game, put yourself back in the question marks of the manager. So yeah, it's certainly a team I still look at and think Rangers can go and get all 3 points.
Is it a big surprise for you, Cammy? You look at the two up top, right? Who would you have preferred? I know Nadiri works very hard off the ball, right? And people say, oh, his stats, he's number one in running down the wing, he's number one in doing a warm-up, right? I've heard all that. But when you're number 9 for Rangers, you've got to score goals. Yep. I know Chermiti's not big, but Chermiti's the top goal scorer now. So I was a bit surprised that he's opted for Nadiri.
But again, is this because he's been away on international duty?
It could be,
because Danny Rule made a comment yesterday along those lines. I'm majorly paraphrasing, but it was something like that if this game had taken place,
a bit different team.
Again, he knows his players.
Because put it this way, even if there's a debate about that, there's no debate about Manuel Fernandes. He's obviously not starting the game because of some sort of physical or mental tiredness. There's no way that he's been chosen to be left out.
Absolutely. And listen, I think when you look at the game that's ahead of Rangers, no disrespect to Dundee United, they're at home. I think it's an ideal game for players to go in that haven't been playing. And listen, you're talking about John Suter. He's a Scotland internationalist that's coming in to replace Fernandes, so it's not a young kid that's coming in. This is a guy that'll be fighting for his place, so he'll want to have a good game. So yeah, listen, I don't think it was the lineup that the manager would have had, as you say, if there wasn't the international break, but that's more than strong enough to go and win the game.
Does any worry, I'm not using worry in the kind of over dramatised sense, but whatever worries out there amongst the Rangers fans about Roman's missing, is that partly because he's actually one of their most creative forces?
Yeah.
You know, traditionally you might think, right, come on, a home game against Dundee United, let's not fret about the left back. But you know, in the last few weeks he's been one of the more creative players, hasn't he?
He's vital. He's key for the way that Rangers have scored so many goals, and again created, as you mentioned. He starts a lot of stuff with unnoticed goals when they're scored. It starts down that left hand side, even if it transitions over to the far side on the right side, he starts to move off. I just think he brings so much energy to the team. So there's no getting away from it. He is going to be a massive miss, but it's an opportunity for Magoma to step back in. He's waited patiently, because as I say, I didn't think he'd done very poorly at the start of the season. I thought he was a decent player.
It's some occasion, Hugh, isn't it? Because everybody knows the incentive. It's the chance to go top, not only for the first time this season, but for the first time in 2 years. That should be a big incentive. That's exciting. Rangers are big favourites. But with that brings its own pressure as well. You can just imagine that Ibrox crowd, if that wasn't to happen, if that wasn't to go to plan today, if Dundee United can come and spoil that party, I'm sure these phones will be full of accusations about bottle and missed opportunities. So it really is all set up today, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a flip side to the coin, and as you rightly say, that is not getting all 3 points and people saying, told you. But on the other side of the coin, if Rangers were to win, I believe it puts Hearts under considerable strain tomorrow. I know they're playing the bottom club, but not to be on top of the table any longer is at the back of your mind, because they've been there for 6 months, and not to be there by 5 o'clock tonight will put them under pressure at Livy tomorrow. Remember, Rangers went to Livy not that very long ago and were 2 goals down and managed to salvage a draw in the end.
We'll get to those fixtures in the not too distant future. Let's keep going round, because there is a real intrigue. We love nothing more than a good storyline in Scottish football, and if the international break taught us anything, the chance to boo, we will take it with both hands. So what will it look like for Stephen Robinson at St Mirren today, Fraser Wishart?
As you say, we love that intrigue, we love the story. The focus of all the pre-match has been about the return of Stephen Robinson to Paisley. I presume that's going to be obvious because he just left here a few weeks ago, but now the focus has to change to what is really important, and that's the 90 minutes on the pitch in front of me. Whether he gets a positive or negative reaction is totally irrelevant. The 3 points up for grabs are of huge importance at the bottom end of the table. St Mirren managed a good away win at Falkirk last time out a couple of weeks ago. They probably didn't want the international break because they were playing quite well, but that leaves them with the prospect of going level in points with Aberdeen should they win today, and that would be a real shot in the arm for Saints. and a real hammer blow for Dons, who've only, I think, won one league match in 2026, and look, a team really devoid of confidence. Interim St Mirren manager Craig McLeish knows he's staying to the end of the season. He hasn't changed the formation, but he just changed style a little. He doesn't really have the players to change to a back four and two wingers, but he's just changed the football style just a slightly, and I think that means he'll play a wee bit more football, and he'll know exactly how Aberdeen will play, and that might be an advantage to St Mirren. Stephen Robinson, on the other hand, had a real go at his players after the defeat against Rangers. Not had the reaction he wanted. I don't know whether he'll get the reaction from the players, because that was 2 weeks ago as well. He's had some time to work with the players, some of them who weren't on international duty, so really important, I think, for Aberdeen. He's able to get his players to understand what he wants, and quickly, because he does play a different way from Jimmy Tillene. A win for Dons would give them the comfort of a 6-point cushion over Saints, and would inject, probably even just as important, some confidence into the team. They'd have a long run of games without a win, but defeat, however, would leave them a real dogfight to avoid a playoff, and many people already have them favourites to end in 11th, and a defeat today would just strengthen that call. Margins are really fine as that for teams at the bottom of the table, and for these two in particular, Aberdeen, I have to say. Pitch looking good, a bit heavy rain. Just had a chat with Alec McLeish and Willie Miller. Oh my goodness, what the Aberdeen fans who are travelling down here would give to have the two of them at the centre of their defence. Team wise, St Mirren have made 3 changes from that win against Falkirk. Out go Tanzer, Lundulu and Young. In come John, Mandron and Ayunga. 3-5-2 formation. Shamal George in goals. Liam Donnelly, Alex Gogic and Miguel Freckleton at the back. Mark O'Hara, Killian Phillips, Jacob Devaney, Alan Campbell and Declan John across the middle, with Mikael Mandron and Jonah Ayunga as the strikers. Ryan Mullen, Jayden Richardson, Scott Tanzer, Richard King, Roland Dowu, Conor McMenamin, Dan Lundulu, Jake Young and Keon Etete are the substitutes. 5 changes after that 4-1 defeat at Ibrox for Aberdeen. Out go Mitov, Lobben, Geiger, Palaversa and Nisbet, and in come Bratveit, Shinnie, Jensen, Keskinen and Lazetic. In goals for in a 3-4-3 formation, in goals for Aberdeen are Per Christian Bratveit. The back 3 is Jack Milne, Liam Morrison and Gavin Malloy. Across the middle, Alexander Jensen, Afiz Ayemu, Graham Shinnie and Emmanuel Giamfe, with Kieran Bilalovic, Marko Lazetic and Teski Kiskinen as the front 3. The subs for Aberdeen: Dimitar Mitov, Kevin Nisbet, Stuart Armstrong, Antti Palaversa, Toyosi Alasanya, Lyle Cameron, Kjartan Kjartjansen, Dylan Lobben and Elvis Wowomo, and the referee in Paisley's Nick Walsh, and the VAR is Grant Irvin.
Looking forward to that more even before it kicks off. Is there going to be booing? Is there not? We will find out for Stephen Robinson as we get closer. Motherwell against Falkirk looks like a cracker as well. David Friel.
It does, Gordon. Miserable day here in Motherwell. Unfortunately, I think the start of Storm Dave is hitting here as well, but this is a really interesting match-up between two of the real success stories of the Premiership season. Two teams that like to get the ball down, like to play, so it should be an entertaining one. Incredibly, it's been 5.5 months since Motherwell last lost a game at Fir Park, and that was to Falkirk. Scott Arfield, one of Dazzy's favourites, scored a late winner here in October. John McGlynn's men returned to Motherwell looking for a point that would secure a top 6 spot. As I said, I think this should be pretty open today. As you say, Gordon, Falkirk could actually secure a place in the top 6 without getting anything today if Dundee United fail to win at Ibrox, but knowing John, he can be sure he wants his players to get over the line on their own terms. And one man who will be important is the informed Barney Stewart in attack. He's got 5 goals in his last 4 in all competitions. If he scores today, he'll become the first Falkirk player to net in 4 successive top-flight games since Anthony Stokes 20 years ago. So he'll be in good company there. Falkirk going to be fired up. They want the win. They want a point at the very, very least, but Motherwell also want a win. They are winless in the last 3 games. Defeats to Dundee and Celtic, followed by that 0-0 draw against Hibs. James Bertalasco and his players have set such high standards this season. I think that kind of run now comes as a real surprise. Getting back to winning ways is a target. They're 4th place. They're 6 points ahead of Hibs at the moment. They want to protect that lead, but they also want to put pressure on Celtic above them too. Motherwell coming out with a point to prove today. They're obviously without the suspended Callum Slattery, who starts his ban for that incident with St Mirren's Richard King. But Elijah Justy was away, 23,000 mile round trip. He's back from New Zealand unscathed, and he starts in his usual place. Emmanuel Longelo is also back from a ban. So Motherwell going to line up Callum Ward in goals, back 4 Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McGinn, Stephen Welsh and Longelo. Elliot Watt and Lucas Verdinger in their usual places in midfield, with Elijah Just, Tom Sparrow, Ibrahim Said and behind Tawanda Maswanisi. Subs for Motherwell are Connolly, McGee, Halliday, Nicholson, Priestman, Ross, McAllister, McComb and Watson. As for Falkirk, they've got Liam Henderson back from suspension. Keelan Adams also comes in at right back, with Philip Lisa moving in
to central defence. So Scott Bain, fresh from his Scotland cap in midweek, he's in goals. Adams, Lisa, Henderson and Leon McCann at the back. Brad Spencer, Dylan Tate, Ben Brosio, Finn Yates, Calvin Miller and Barney Stewart. Subs for Falkirk are Hogarth, Donaldson, Graham, Nielsen, Cartwright, Parkinson, Allen, Wilson and Ross. The referee at far part is Duncan Nicholson. The VAR is Chris Graham.
Really looking forward to that one as well. And last but not least, speaking of Storm, Dave, Galloway is at Hibs against Kilmarnock.
Great intro, thank you, Gordon. Well, Hibs are almost entering the last chance saloon as they pursue Motherwell for 4th place. 3 consecutive draws have left them 6 points behind the Steelmen, but with 7 games left, they can certainly give themselves a platform if they can get a victory. However, Kilmarnock come here full of confidence after going into the international break with 2 wins and 2 clean sheets, and after beating Hearts, they'll be looking to do the Edinburgh double, and an away win here could make things very interesting in the battle to avoid a relegation playoff, with them just 3 points behind badly struggling Aberdeen. So the Highbees seeking to regain momentum, while Killie want to make it a hat-trick of successive wins to boost their survival hopes. Looking at Hibs then, well, they make 4 changes, no less. It's Hanley, Iredale, Scarlett and Elding coming in. Outdrop Bushiri, Nicky Cadden, Boyle and Suto. So Salinger in goals. It looks like 3-4-1 to O'Hora, Hanley and Ubita at the back. Then Paslak, Barlaser, Chaiwa and Iredale, with McGrath playing off Scarlett and Elding in attack. The subs: Smith, Alanza, Boyle, Newell, Chris Cadden, Megwa, Andrews, Campbell and Suto. Kilmarnock, just the one change for them. It's Lyons in for Watkins, so it's Roos in goals. It looks like they may have changed to a 4-3-3 today, rather than the kind of 4-4-2 with the diamond in midfield. So Roos in goals. Across the back, Brandon, Stanger, Dees and Shawning Larson. Midfield, Polworth, Lyons and Tishbola, with Kilty, Hugill and Curtis in the forward positions. The substitutes for them: Stryek, Thompson, Mayo, McKenzie, Watson, Lowry, Anderson, Thompson and Watkins. Your referee today is Callum Scott. On VAR duties, Andrew Dallas.
Looking forward to them all, and that's just the top flight. The intrigue down the divisions today is through the roof as well, but we can get to that. We officially declare it the business end of the season after the March international break. We will assess the way the title race sits, look ahead to tomorrow's games when we return. Lots of men out there want to feel more confident in the bedroom. In fact, 1 in 5 men have issues as they get older. That's why MedExpress is here to provide support in minutes through a free online consultation. By completing the short online consultation, they'll suggest the right treatment for your concerns, all from the comfort of your home. And you know you're in the right place. They've been one of the country's leading online pharmacies since 2013, with over 1.5 million customers. Their UK-based clinical team will support you every step of the way and send your medication straight to your door. And the best bit is the whole process is online, so you don't even have to visit your GP. So no more planning or pressure, just confidence when you need it most. Visit medexpress.co.uk to check your eligibility and get 30% off with the code SuperScoreboard. That's SuperScoreboard, all one word, when you check out at medexpress.co.uk.
Breakups, that is a tricky one. That's why EE is the only major provider who'll give you up to £300 to switch. You'll get full fibre, but you'll also get EE's most powerful Wi-Fi 7 as standard. So the whole house can do more, like streaming that series whilst your work calls stay crystal clear. Switch to EE today.
Up to £300 credited to your EE account. Verify at ee.co.uk/claims. New BT Group customers only. 62% availability. Terms apply.
Fly with the fry. Chicken is here. The 20 hot wings bucket. 20 succulent hot wings for $7.99. Come under our wings and feel the flavour saviour. Sensation awaits. Get the deal. Believe in chicken. KFC. Available until the 19th of April. Subject to availability. Participating restaurants only. Excludes delivery. Full T's and C's at kfc.co.uk.
The all-new, all-electric Toyota CHR Plus. Sleek, stylish and quietly reliable. Available with 0% APR representative with £1,500 deposit contribution and save £1,500 with the electric car grant. Get that Toyota electric feeling. Visit your nearest Toyota centre. Price from 34495. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 30th of June 2026. Optional final payment. Indemnities may be required. See website T's and C's apply.
With Betfred, when you bet £10, you get £50 in free bets. So, want to back your new striker to score the first goal? Your midfield maestro to get the assist? Want to say there'll be a header? Want to see their striker caught offside? He was born offside. Want to predict the final score? Or both teams to score? Want to get involved for 90 minutes? Want to nick it in extra time? Want to bet £10 and get £50 in free bets? Want to bet? Betfred. New online customers only. 5 £10 free bets. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
The fastest goals. The expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
The Scottish Premiership is back after that low-key international break. We are back with a bang. The business end of the season after the international break. This is when things will be won and lost over the next 7 games. And we cannot wait. We've already given you the team news from our 4 featured Premiership matches. Let's look at the bigger picture. We usually stop for reflection at this time on a Saturday, look back on the week's biggest talking points. I don't think we need to go over Japan and Ivory Coast again, so let's look forward, if you like, David Friel. Assess the title race as we enter this last stretch.
Well, you called it a business end, Gordon. I'm going to call it a psychological end. I think the mind games is going to be so important. I was through seeing Derek McInnes yesterday. He was very positive, very confident. He said that the psychological aspect of Hearts playing after Rangers was overplayed. They have to play the same games, all of that. I don't necessarily agree with that, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Hearts will be under major pressure if Rangers knock them off top spot tonight. But in terms of the overall state of play, for me, if Hearts can come through the next 2 games unscathed and take even a 2-point lead into the last 5 games and into the split, I think it's there for them to win. I'm not convinced Rangers, and certainly not Celtic, are equipped to go and win all 5 games after the split, and Hearts might only need to win 2 or 3, Gordon, to do it. So as things stand for me, if Hearts can beat Livingston tomorrow and beat Motherwell next weekend, I think they are favourites to do it.
The notion of Rangers going top tonight, though, David, is that the bit that can be overplayed, because it's not like Hearts have done anything wrong. They can't impact that right now. Now, of course, it is as a result of Rangers chipping away at that gap. But, you know, it's not like Hearts have dropped points. It's just a scheduling thing. Is that where Derek McInnes is trying to play that down and almost not make too much of a big deal of it if it does happen?
Yeah, and that's probably good management, because he's not wanting to put any more pressure on his players than is already there. But you can't tell me that if Hearts are off the top of the league and it goes into the last 20 minutes at Livingston tomorrow and it's a draw or they're getting beat, there's not more pressure on those players. Of course they're going to think of it. You can bet that. I was talking to Mark Leonard yesterday as well, and he's admitted they will be looking at the Rangers result today. They'll be looking to see how they got on, and of course it's going to factor into it. I think what Derek McInnes is trying to say to his players is, as you said, they've done nothing wrong if they do go off the table tonight, but I do think it comes down to psychology at that stage, and can you handle the pressure?
It's not just psychology, Fraser Wishart. It's not just some magical mystery element, because the team that goes first in recent weeks has been winning their games. Any dropped points from the big 3 have been coming in the teams that have followed, not the team that's played first. You know, that's just that's a fact. That's the way the results have been going. Now listen, there's maybe a bit of a qualification to be added there, in the fact that if you play Saturday at 3, it's probably because you're at home. It's probably a so-called straightforward fixture. The ones with the jeopardy are shown on TV, they come on the Sunday and all that sort of stuff. But going first has been an advantage in recent weeks.
Yeah, it has been. I think it's dangerous to overplay it. I think there is a factor. I mean, Mark Leonard's saying that of course we'll be looking at the Rangers result, but that'll be it, because Hearts know no matter what the result is, win, lose or draw today at Ibrox, if Rangers don't get any points, Hearts still have to go and win the game. So I think sometimes it can be a wee bit overplayed. I think the key for me for Hearts is the vulnerability of the Old Firm this season. You know, especially Celtic in terms of losing games. And usually at this time of the season you're maybe looking at, right, where will the Old Firm drop points? It could be anywhere. I mean, I think I saw a stat right that's saying that Celtic have lost all 3 games in Dundee this year, you know, so, and they're up there tomorrow as well. Rangers' vulnerability has been draws. They can't get those last gasp victories we've seen Celtic get in recent weeks as well, so there's going to be twists and turns, obviously. But Hearts on 66 points, if they pick up, say, 13, 14 points, get 79, 80, you know, Rangers and Celtic can't really afford a slip-up. You know, that's Hearts losing 2 and be drawing 1, so Hearts just have that slight advantage just now later in the season where they're able to have 1 more slip-up than Rangers and 2 more slip-ups than Celtic, and that puts the pressure on the Old Firm to win almost every game. I think Celtic could probably need 6 wins and a draw at least. Rangers maybe just a wee bit less, but it's still advantage Hearts for me. I think that the way they've gone through this recent period without so many key players, they're beginning to come back to fitness. They'll be a wee bit fresher than maybe others as well. So Hearts' squad is beginning to look a wee bit stronger. So for me, Hearts just need to, as David says, win the next 2 or 3 games, and then all of a sudden it's within sight as well. And that's maybe where the test might come for Hearts. But they look very comfortable on top. They've been on top for so long.
Hugh Keevins, you caused a bit of a stir last night when you said Celtic had no chance, 0 chance. It was 0% chance for you of winning the league. I'm going to guess you've not changed your mind overnight. You've not slept on it and paused for reflection.
Not in the slightest. No chance at all of Celtic winning the league. You can talk about all the dramatic words like mentality, psychology, symbolism. It comes down to arithmetic for me. When Danny Rule came into Ibrox, Hearts were 13 points in front of Rangers. Today, Hearts will be 2nd place. And that for me means that Rangers are on the move and Hearts now have to live up to their early promise, because the 13-point lead has vanished. And these Hearts players, for all that they have been magnificent all season and done well, and it's been a rolling story and a wonderful story, these Hearts players are now into an intense level of scrutiny that they have never known before. And for me, Rangers are the favourites to win the title.
Hugh says Rangers. I think Fraser and David were leaning towards Hearts, if I've picked them up right. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Great, thanks for that input.
Thanks
for coming.
Yeah, what I'm going to say, I think obviously the split has got to be massive, right?
So you want me asking 4 weeks' time?
No. What I will say that right now is I don't agree with you. No, 0% for Celtic, right? But I would make Celtic third favourites. I don't think Celtic will win it. I think it's a square goal between Hearts and Rangers.
That would be quite something.
I think it's
is that what we should do if it's level and goal difference at the end of the season?
I think it is a real tight challenge, and I think it will come down to the wire. Hearts will certainly still be there. They're slight favourites now, but it will certainly, for me, between Hearts and Rangers.
I'm abusing my position because I'm mocking you for not being able to pick, but in 3 hours' time, Cammy, if Rangers haven't won today, any belief
which is possible,
the belief that people have in Rangers will take a serious blow in the space of a couple of hours. So it is that delicate. But we're speaking before kick-off anyway, so who's in the driving seat? Who's your favourites from here?
Favourites for me and who I think will win the league is Rangers. And again, I look at, I think they've improved since the managers came in. Their Achilles heel, we mentioned it before, is the draws, and that still concerns me. That again today, am I fully convinced that they're going to win the game? No, I still got a doubt in the back of my head that today could end up a draw, and that's not going to be good enough. So they really need to find top form between now and end of the season. Hearts, I think today is really significant for them, because again, if Rangers win and go top of the league, the pressure ramps up. I know Derek McInnes is saying, listen, nothing changes, we all play the same amount of games. As a player going on the pitch, the pressure becomes a lot more scrutinised. It's higher stakes are there, and it's a game against Livingston. It's a game you're expected to go and cruise through and win that game. That'll be difficult for them tomorrow, and especially if Rangers manage to get the 3 points. I just think the pressure will play a part in what happens with Hearts, and I think Rangers will get over the line.
And I have to set this up, David Friel, by acknowledging that nothing is played on paper. This is not a prediction, but if we're talking about before a ball being kicked, let's go back to that brilliant stat. Only once this season have all 3 won on the same weekend. That is quite remarkable. So if that's going to be carried on this weekend, Celtic, who are third, therefore they are the most out of form team of the 3, they've probably got the most difficult fixture as well heading to Dundee, which has not been kind to them this season.
Yeah, it's not. And what's the stat? 3 different managers have lost in Dundee for Celtic. Yeah, I just look at Celtic and, you know, would I say 0% chance? I wouldn't say that, Gordon, but I just don't see Celtic. You know, it's a tough one tomorrow, and I just don't think Celtic have the striker or the talisman this season to go on that winning run they need to. You know, you look at Dyson Maeda, he had 30 goals at this stage last season. He's got 8 just now. He's not scored in 16 games, and he would still, you would think, probably be the first choice number 9, even though Celtic have tried to sign about 4 or 5 strikers this season. So you've got the Julian Araujo's out, Alistair Johnson's got a setback as well. I don't think Martin O'Neill knows his strongest team. He's not got his problems to seek, and that's a really tough game against a very good Dundee team tomorrow. So Celtic are going to have any chance. They need to obviously win that game, but I think it'll be a tough one. I expect Rangers to win today, I expect Hearts to win tomorrow. I wouldn't be so sure about Celtic.
Well, that's going to be the big question, Fraser Wishart, because even Martin O'Neill's talking about being flawless or nearly flawless, and Celtic would need to find something miles and miles above what they've produced at any stage of this season to match that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, recent form, last game against Dundee United, so poor, and I think you could see Martin O'Neill's face after the game, how shell-shocked he was by the poor performance as well. It's just been so inconsistent. I mean, they do have players who've won the Premiership, of course. You know, they've been involved in winning titles for many years, you know, and we always talk about the Hearts players. They're going to face a new situation. They haven't been here before, nor have Rangers players. When you look at it, very few of them were in the title winning team of a few years ago as well. So there's all these things playing out in the background. But I think the great thing is that you can't say for 100% that any of the 3 is going to win every game between now and the end of the season, because we've seen that vulnerability across the board, and that's just going to lead to us every single weekend looking at this and examining it, you know. And I think that's the whole intrigue that you've got over this period. I do just have this feeling that Hearts are just going to get there. I think Hearts, with Shankland coming back and Devlin coming back, Halkett and Finlay looking as if they're getting a bit of fitness as well. They were key players throughout the early part of the season when they were so good. So I think that's a real key point. But Celtic, I don't think they can afford to lose one more game. If they do, then I think that's them toast.
Is that the problem in a nutshell, Hugh? Because Fraser's saying, and I think most people would agree with this, we're going back to that stat, they don't always all win at the same time. Can't see any of the teams winning all their games. Hearts don't need to, but Celtic probably do, or there or thereabouts, certainly.
I think Martin O'Neill knows the truth of the matter, but he can't come out and say it, obviously. He has said if they don't win in Dundee, then that pretty much looks like it. Use whatever phrase you like, but I keep going back to the simple things in life. Rangers were 13 points behind Hearts when Danny Rule took over, and now Rangers will go top this evening. Hearts will have to live with a level of pressure that none of those players under Derek McInnes have ever had to live under before. And Celtic, for me, and I'll wait for 5 o'clock for more people to come on and say this is nonsense, Celtic, for me, do not have the squad of players who can survive the 7 remaining games. They have a squad in very serious decline, and they have been denied the services of so many players because of serious injury all at the one time. Jota, Carter, Vickers, Johnson, Engels, Schmeichel. They've had a terrible season in that way, and I acknowledge that fact. What remains of their squad is not nearly good enough to win a league title.
And you do wonder, Gordon, how important personnel can be, because we're going to come out of this break from a Hearts perspective with Lawrence Shankland sort of fully back, if you like, or certainly closer, because he came on before the break. Cammy Devlin similarly. So you do just wonder if little tweaks in personnel here and there can be the difference. Rangers fans are bemoaning the absence of Tour Romans today. I think that's only going to be a couple of weeks. I think if you look back, I'd imagine Celtic fans sort of thought and hoped that Jota would have been back maybe by this stage or roundabout to provide a spark. That doesn't look like that's going to happen, so personnel could play a key role.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've always said that when you get to this business end of the season, I think the fine lines are your strikers that can go and win you games. When you're maybe under a little bit of pressure, you need that guy that just puts the ball in the back of the net, gets you 3 points, especially maybe away from home. Shankland and Braga are a brilliant partnership. They'll certainly score goals for Hearts. I look at Rangers, yes, I'm not being too excited about their front two. I know Chermiti scores in the big games against Hearts and Celtic, But for them, they've scored 18 goals in 5 games at Ibrox, so they're getting goals all over the pitch. My big worry for Celtic is, where is the goals coming from? You know, Negrin, take him out of the equation, there's just nobody there that's exciting me that's going to get Celtic over the line in a very difficult game, and one will probably be tomorrow at Dens Park. So I just think the edge is coming, and that's why I say that I don't fancy Celtic to win it now. I think it's a straight shootout between Hearts and Rangers.
Let's park it for now because we've got business to take care of. The 3 o'clock kickoffs are under 20 minutes away, and we'll go back around the grounds next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
15 minutes to go until the 3 o'clock games. The return of the Scottish Premiership gets underway, and at the top of the table, the most significant game by far is Rangers against Dundee United. Gabriel is there. He's already given us the teams, and you can almost anticipate it, Gabriel. There'll be a big atmosphere there, big expectation, and with that can come its own pressure as well.
Yes, certainly, Gordon. We all know what Ibrox of all places is like when the expectation weighs heavy and Rangers aren't ahead after half an hour, after 45 minutes. And perhaps expectation will be highest at any point it has been this season. As we know, this is the first time that they can go top of the league in 2 years. Just speaking to the boys in the studio there, a lot of them have Rangers now as favourites for the league, and so much of that is down to their impressive home form. You know, when you look at it, they've got to win games like this at home against Dundee United, who, yes, have been good themselves at Tannadice, but got to pick up 3 points and just put the pressure on Hearts and Celtic, because it does come down to psychological battles in moments like this. Think how tight it is. It's 7 games to go, 3 teams within 5 points. For Rangers, the pressure is on, a must win, and Ibrox expects.
Just wondering about Dundee United's approach, Cammy Bell, where they have to win the game to keep alive any chance whatsoever of a top 6 finish. Now, it might not even be enough. Falkirk might get a point or more at Fir Park, and that would be that. But what does that do to the traditional notion of going to Ibrox and a draw being a good thing, a draw being a good result, and, you know, being able to try and scrap your way towards that? I think it does change anything.
Yeah, I think it probably changes Jim Goodwin's approach to the game. For me, when Dundee United go there today, we all know how good Rangers have been at home this season. Very, very good, very strong team. So it'll be about staying in the game, making sure they make it difficult for Rangers in the first period of the game, not giving up loads of chances, taking part in the game, feel your way into the game. So that'll be the message to him, to his players today. It'll be, make sure you stay in the game, because as Gabriel says there, the longer it stays 0-0, the longer that Rangers aren't ahead, that crowd will get frustrated, they'll get a little bit nervous, because the opportunity is there for them today to go top of the league. So I think Jim Goodwin and Dundee United can use that to their advantage today if they can keep the early stages quiet.
Let's hear from Danny Rule.
After the national break, always the first game, you need a little bit of time, and it's also the reason why I will trust some players that were here, because they trained the last 2 weeks together. We need the rhythm, we need the balance. It's a good feeling, but the best feeling should be after the game, when we win the game and we are top. We have to work hard. I think we played 2 times this year and we couldn't win against them, and this is a new challenge. They did well against Celtic. We are prepared for this. We know what we face, and it will be a challenge. They fight also for the small chance to come maybe in the top 6, and both teams there want to win, and we need a good performance.
Looking at Motherwell against Falkirk, David Friel, this is the first game of Callum Slattery's suspension, which has been a real fascinating story, such a widespread debate, because 2 really clear points of view. Some people were calling in the show, I think you were on that night, saying the guy cheated, what's all the fuss, ban him for longer. And other people were saying it's a bit selective though, it's a bit strange, can you prove there was no contact, are you going to do this every time a player goes down easily? Been a real interesting debate, that one.
No, it has been. My stance was that, punishment. I just felt it was all very messy and it seemed a bit severe, given it was obviously a 4 match with 2 suspended. But Motherwell just have to go on without him for this game, and obviously the Hearts game next week. But I think the one good thing about James Bertalascu's squad is he does have options. Obviously Tom Sparrow is one who's come in to almost be that third central midfielder and make play off a side, I suppose, next to Elliot Watt and Lucas Verdinga. and Motherwell just have to kind of keep going and just going as they have been. They're such a fluid team, they all switch positions anyway, so they will miss Callum Slattery. He's been a very good player, great set pieces, all that sort of stuff, but I think they've got the players to cope without him. And I do, as I said earlier on, I think this is a big game for Motherwell. They've got that 6-point lead over Hibs just now in the sort of battle for fourth, if you want to call it that. But you want to protect that, and you're going to have to win your home games, because Motherwell and Falkirk, I suppose, are now into post-split territory, because they're only playing against the teams in the top 6 for the rest of the season. And Motherwell, it's been surprising, only 1 point out of the last 9 available. That has been surprising given how well they've played, but they've been so strong at Firth Park, and you would expect them to be thinking that they can go and beat a Falkirk team today who obviously got their own ambitions.
What was your take on it, Fraser Wishart? Because you've got that unique perspective. I assume you don't want our players to be cheating each other, but then the disciplinary process can be a bit confusing as well. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think that I think what Callum did was wrong. I think he knows that as well. But it's a process thing. You've got a referee he's back turned at the time. You've got a linesman 10 yards away. You've got VAR. You've got assistant VAR, and yet the SFA chose to come in again and re-referee yet again, which is the first time they've done it for a while since VAR came in. They used to be very active in punishing players after that point. So for me, I'm kind of with Motherwell in terms of process. Where does it stop now? You get umpteen opportunities to get the decision right, and the decision was wrong. But suspending a player like that, I think they've opened up a huge can of worms, and with all there is to play for between now and the end of the season, at top and bottom of the table, I think Martin Black, the compliance officer, who's very, very low profile, I think his profile might get higher between now and the end of the season, because other clubs will start to say, wait a wee minute here, what went on in our game?
Yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we needed. More scrutiny between now and the end of the season. That'll be good fun. Just quickly, I'm conscious of time, Hugh, so I was going to ask David about a player on the other team and a more positive story in Barney Stewart. You referenced him earlier, David. Is there any chance this next couple of months he can get himself on that plane?
Well, why not? I mean, if he keeps scoring at the rate he is scoring, Gordon, then I think he becomes hard to ignore. He's going to the very top. He will play for Scotland one day. I think it's just a matter of time. Steve Clarke, I think, has been reluctant just to throw him in. I thought it was really interesting listening to Stephen Naismith talking about him. He was, he couldn't have spoke highly enough about him. I do think Barney Stewart's time will come, and it's up to him. He's got 7 games between now and the end of the season, potentially more. Obviously the Scottish Cup, Falkirk could get to the final as well. If he keeps scoring and keeps playing the way he is, I think he'll have every chance of certainly being in the conversation. But this way, he'll definitely make the 55-man squad that has to be named. But also look at guys like Calvin Miller, who could have been knocking on the door. Scotland absolutely crying out for wide players. I think Calvin Miller has had such a good season, will be in. There'll be a lot of interest in him in the summer. But I think Falkirk in general, they've got so many standouts. You look at Scott Bain, Philip Lisa, Liam Henderson, all these guys, Brad Spencer, Dylan Tate. You could go through them all. It's been such a success story, and it's incredible to think, Gordon, that when John McGlynn took over almost 4 years ago, they just finished 6th in League One. And look at where they are now. He's done an unbelievable job, and if he was to win Manager of the Year this year, I would have no complaints at all.
Yeah, going to be a fascinating game, that, between Motherwell and Falkirk. You're shaking your head there about Barney Stewart, but what's to say there's not a couple of injuries? Who says he can't get himself close?
Yeah, well, a couple of injuries, but listen, I'm all for up and coming young players. I love it. I love the freshness of it, the excitement of it. He's scoring goals. He's been absolutely brilliant. I just don't think, if everybody's fit, I don't think he's getting included. I look at down south, even guys like Ross Stewart, for instance, he's now back banging in the goals as well for Southampton. So I just think he's down the pecking order a little bit.
You'd make the 55-man squad, though.
I would certainly make. Well, I've got a wee bit of a hip problem just now.
I noticed that you've been limping around again.
Yeah, but I think I should be fit in time to go on the plane.
Get the Puma Kings looked out.
Does the 55-man squad have to be made public?
I don't think so,
because players will be made fools of if they don't make the 55. A lot of players are going to be ridiculed for not being there. That's why I think it would be dangerous to publish the list
what
of 55.
What is the point of a 55?
It's a FIFA provisional squad. It's a strange one, though, because we're having a joke about our country, how far would we need to go, but see some of the small, take Haiti or Curacao. Yeah. What does that 55-man squad look like? Anyway,
in the street
maybe a conversation for later. Do you know what we're going to do? Let's park it right now, because I want to go back to Paisley just before kick-off when Stephen Robinson walks onto that pitch. We'll maybe get a flavour of Ibrox as well when we return.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
about to kick off. Let's quickly do teams at Ibrox very quickly so we can get to Paisley after. Here's Gabriel.
Rangers, Jack Butland in goal, Sterling, Giga, Sutton, Magoma in a back four, Chukwani and Raskin in front of them, Scovolson, Asgard and Moore are the three behind Nadiri. It's 3-4-2-1 for visitors, Dundee United, Maynard Brewer in goal, Yovu, Graham and Koreshtes the back three, Stevenson, Savelj, Aye and Ferry across the midfield, Farrugia and Fatah support Waters up top.
Looking forward to it. What kind of reception is Stephen Robinson getting, Fraser Wishart?
Well, the teams have just come out here, Gordon, to a really warm reception. Craig McLeish came out before the teams, I think, quite sensibly, and stood in his dugout to see Brian Kerr, Stephen Robinson, assistant manager. Just look for Stephen. I can see all the cameramen only trained on one person, and that is Stephen Robinson, who's going to come out. I think he'll get quite a warm, and he has come out now, and he's shaking hands with Craig McLeish. And you know something? A decent reception, the odd boo here and there, but it's beginning to go around the ground. But I think it's pantomime booing more than anything else, because I think the fans deep down know that Stephen Robinson has did so much for the football club, a great record in recent years, and it was probably time for them both. It's time for Stephen Robinson to move on, it's time for St Mirren maybe to get a new voice, but I have to say, not a bad reception at all for Stephen Robinson. We've got a pantomime booing, but not that much here, because this is a vital game. I think St Mirren fans realise that. They've packed the whole place out. A few people cheering Stephen Robinson, fair enough, around me, but that's a huge game for both teams, and fair play to the Aberdeen fans. St Mirren fans are packed in numbers, but Aberdeen have given a record recently. Yet again, they have packed the away end, so today is going to be a fantastic 90 minutes, a fantastic atmosphere, and after all the pantomime stuff with Stephen Robinson, all that matters, Gordon, is who is going to pick up the points today in what is a crucial game, I think, for these two teams, particularly Aberdeen. If they win, a 6-point cushion, I think will be enough to see them keep in the Premiership. But if they lose, they are in a real dogfight, and do they have the balls for it?
That reminds me of when Hugh Keevins walks into Clyde Bancaster. That's the sort of booing you expect. But let's get us up and running.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Oh, we're back. It feels like we've been away for ages. It was only a week off for the international break. What are you looking for on your ACCA? Let's see if you three can finish the season on a high, because I don't think you do very well in your predictions. What do the 4 games look like today, Hugh?
Rangers home win versus Dundee United, Motherwell home win versus Falkirk, Hibs home win versus Kilmarnock, St Mirren, Aberdeen, draw.
I'm going Rangers home win, Motherwell home win, St Mirren, Aberdeen draw, Hibs Kilmarnock draw.
Right, I'll be a little bit different. Rangers to win, Motherwell to win, Aberdeen to win. I think the Red Army will get a result going up the road, and I fancy Hibs to just edge it against Kilmarnock.
Well, that's us. We are getting underway up and down the Premiership, up and down the country, in fact. But how good is this going to be, Hugh Keevins? For all, listen, we'll argue, we'll fall out, we'll debate many times over between now and the end of the season. But before we get to that, can we all just agree it's been brilliant, and it is going to be brilliant between now and the end of May?
Not often we have this level of intense interest this deep into the season. Celtic have normally won it by now, but all change this season. I see things today in black and white terms. Dundee United, for me, are a mediocre football team. They beat Celtic because Celtic on the day were appalling. Rangers, I think, will win convincingly. By the same token, I think that Motherwell are too good for Falkirk. Aberdeen I see as a once big club. I don't see them as a big club at the moment. And I think Stephen Robinson has gone to them at a very difficult time. And that was his decision, and he'll have to live with it. And with regard to Hibs and Kilmarnock, Billy Dodds and Neil McCann have done a terrific job at Rugby Park. Surely Hibs, though, at home, if they've got anything at all about them, will win that match.
Looking forward to it, Cammy. It's all set up nicely.
Yeah, it certainly is. But again, when you look at Hibs this season, Hugh, there's been moments where they'll look back. David Greer certainly looked back. There's games that they've not been consistent. You expect them to go and beat Kilmarnock today if they've got, as you mentioned, if they've got anything about them, any aspirations going forward. But again, it's one that I just think Kilmarnock will sneak something out of that game. They've been improving. They've had a couple of really good results against Hearts and Livingston. recently, so I think they're getting better and more confident under Neil McCann. But yeah, some brilliant games. And again, you look at the games, almost you kind of look at and think they're very, very close to call. Hibs, Kilmarnock, anybody could win that. St Mirren, Aberdeen, for me, anybody could win that. Motherwell, Falkirk, same. Again, on their day, each team can beat each. So it'll be interesting.
Got our first goal of the afternoon as well.
Wow.
We are definitely back.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
We'd only just finished the minute's applause for Hibs legend Alex Cropley, and they've taken the lead already. The High Bees, Kilmarnock cut open straight away. Owen Elding with the goal, an easy finish, and that is a dream start for David Gray. And we've got another one of these as well.
Wow. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's Falkirk, it's Barney Stewart. Wow. Double check the expiration date on that man's passport, because this is incredible. The first player to score in 4 top flight games for the Bairns since Anthony Stokes did it 20 years ago. Calvin Miller's free kick, Barney Stewart's header, Falkirk lead at Fir Park, and Hibs lead at home to Kilmarnock.
There's a nice story for you, because Barney Stewart's mammy is at the game for the first time to see her son play in professional football. And there he is, 1 minute in, and he's got the goal against Motherwell. And for young Owen Elding, late of Sligo Rovers and Irish football, he has started to make a real impact at Hibs as well. He's still a very young man, as young as Barney Stewart. What a start.
6 goals in 5 games for Barney Stewart, Gordon. It is absolutely remarkable what he's doing at the moment.
I maybe went too early with my shout.
You have.
Exactly. But look, I love it. I love the fact that the story, everything about it, scoring goals, enjoying his football, being absolutely brilliant for Falkirk. They're not wanting Dundee United, Rangers to do them a favour today against Dundee United to cement their top 6. They want to do it in style, and rightly so. But like football, there's a long way to go.
And Motherwell don't really concede home goals.
Yeah,
Cammy.
Yep.
Nico Raskin did it, and he's the only person since Falkirk won there back in October, and Scott Arfield got the second of Falkirk's goals that day. But Barney Stewart's a different kettle of fish at the moment. 3 minutes gone. In fact, inside that, it's a really good ball from Calvin Miller, which you get from the free kick, and a bullet header as well. Brilliant stuff from him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Again, for me, listen, the dream is for him is to get on that plane. Can he do it? If he scores between a barrel load of goals between now and the end of the season, why not? Why not take him? He's just a fantastic player. I think in the air as well, we mentioned how many headed goals he does score. He's really strong in that area. But what a start to the day with him.
The only thing you're saying is, why not? Who would they sort of leave out? And I mentioned Ross Stewart as another one that must be looking at thinking, right, if I can get a real good strong finish to the
season.
Only
reason you're saying is who would leave out, it's because
you've got Shanklin coming in, Dykes will go, Hurst I thought he looked decent the other night there. Adams will certainly go as well.
Again, goal scorers, who out of them are going to put the ball in the back in it?
I know, but
at this stage or any of them
I know, and that's probably why it's not down to the fact that they're doing brilliantly with their clubs or they're outstanding when they're going away with Scotland scoring a barrel load of goals, because none of them, you've said, have scored a huge amount of goals in recent times for us.
It's a good way of going about it if you're Falkirk, Gordon, because you know that at some point Motherwell will have an element of control in the game, possession wise or territory or whatever. Going to take the lead before they even get the chance. It was a disrupted start, set piece, goal, simple as that.
Well, I think you highlighted it, Gordon. Not many teams go to Fir Park and score a goal. I think up until then it was one in the last 13 games or something. So it's a brilliant start for them. Listen, John I've said to them before the game, look, forget Rangers Dundee United. We want to go and do it on our own merits, and they've got off to a great start.
Rangers have passed up a big chance in the early stages. It was Ryan Nadiri, a header wide. It was a great ball in from the right side for Mikey Moore. There was actually an opening for Dundee United prior to that, though. It was far too easy to get through Rangers midfield. Ferrugia put the ball across, but there were no takers for Dundee United. So a lively start everywhere. St Mirren on top, lots of energy, pushing Aberdeen back, but no opening. Hibs in front at home to Kilmarnock, and Falkirk in front at Motherwell already. Let's do this. Hugh Keevins.
The first half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
Keep it nice and simple. Rangers are playing Dundee United. Once the band finishes, can you tell me the last 5 players to play for Rangers and Dundee United? Last 5 players to play for both Rangers and Dundee United.
There we go. It needs to have been a first team appearance, obviously. On the books, doesn't count, but played for Rangers and Dundee United. Take it away at Clyde SSB, and it has to be quicker than everyone else. So get your tweets down, all of the answers on one tweet, and send it over. If you want to just throw some names in, we will take that from you as well. Calvin Miller's looking really lively for Falkirk in the opening stages. A claim for a Motherwell penalty. We'll see if anything comes of that. We've got a goal in the Championship already. It's Ross County 0, Airdrie 1. Lewis Strapp with the goal. Ross County's really difficult season continues.
Well, it means as things stand,
bottom,
Airdrie go above Ross County, and Ross County hit the deck, bottom of the Championship.
Yeah, change of managers not really changed their fortunes. They're in real trouble, Ross County. Everybody kept saying, oh, they could be too good to go down. Look at the squad, look at the money they pay. They're in big trouble. They're really in big trouble.
You wonder what Roy McGregor does in the event of relegation. The man's pumped in all sorts of money to Ross County over the years.
Forget the bottom. What about the top? This was your day. This was your big day. £1,000 to cash for kids. A meet and greet with Scott Brown. He loses his job. You're back in here with us. And John Rankin leads Ayr against Mark Wilson's Partick Thistle today.
Huge game for Mark and Alec Ray. I wish them all the luck in the world. Ayr are in free fall. They're third bottom. So understandable why Bruni got the push when you think about it. They really could be doing with getting something against Partick Thistle.
It was a bit rude on John Rankin, I've got to say.
It was very, I was going to say that.
And I also think it was very rude in Cammy and I, because we were looking forward to a week without you. And it's certainly not happened. So
he didn't know John Rankin was in interim charge when he called off the meet and greet, to be fair.
No.
But you can still get down whoever it's there. They would have loved to have seen Hugh. He could have went round and shook hands with whoever was in charge.
I will take no lectures from you on where I should be, given that you live beside Fir Park and
never away from the place.
The only time you were seen in it, he didn't even last the 90 minutes.
Exactly. It's a lively game there. Certainly today that he's missing. We mentioned a Motherwell penalty claim. Maswanisi went down under a tackle from Liam Henderson. Ref wasn't interested. VAR not spotting anything that it wished to pick up on. We've got the official timing, we think, in for that Hibs goal.
Okay.
59 seconds.
13
seconds?
13 seconds.
No way.
That's
Can you
incredible.
score a goal
That
in
quick?
13 seconds? Can you go
How can you concede a goal in that?
13 seconds, remarkable.
Neil McCann will be happy about that.
Oh dear me.
It's all Hibs as well, so he'll be even less impressed. They've just won a corner as well. St Mirren have clipped the top of the bar. Liam Donnelly with a header from Declan John's corner. So it looks like the teams are chomping at the bit. Sometimes it can be a bit of a slow start after an international break.
Am I correct in thinking that Aberdeen have scored one away goal in 2026?
At Ibrox.
One, in the midst of a going over from Rangers.
Oh, Liam, Calvin Miller charges down Callum Ward in the Motherwell goal and gets there. What?
Oh, the goalkeeper, sorry. I thought it was opposite.
What are you on about?
I thought it was opposite end. I'm shouting penalty.
You leave the updates to me. He's charged down the goalkeeper and he gets something on it, but it flies wide. So Falkirk 1 up and looking dangerous at Fir Park already. Remember, Motherwell 3 games without a win now after being on that brilliant run. I don't think they were too concerned, Cammy, because actually the Dundee performance was fine. It's just one of those days. They didn't win the game. They did well at Celtic Park. They went down to 10 men and conceded a penalty. So you never really know the impact. And a 0-0 draw against Hibs can happen. But if that was to be backed up by another failure to win, certainly a defeat today, I think that would start to be a bit considered a proper drop-off.
Yeah, certainly would. And again, being at home today, we know how strong they've been at home. Again, just we mentioned how good they've been defensively at home. So I think today it's a big game for them. It's a big game to get back on track, and the manager that'll be the message from the manager, is to get back to where we were, because they're a good side. They've not fell away For me, they've been excellent all season, but they won't want it to stop here. They want it to continue on in that top 6 and keep picking up points. They've still got a lot to play for as well, so yeah, they'll be looking for the 3 points.
Yeah, Manny Longello cuts in and fires over the bar. David Fields already predicting more goals in this one. Falkirk won up very early. Motherwell have had a few opportunities, and Falkirk have looked dangerous as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. We knew it would be a good one. St Mirren, Aberdeen, no goals there yet, and at the top, nothing between Rangers and Dundee United, Hugh. But we're only 13 minutes in.
Yeah, it won't feel like that though for the Rangers supporters. I mean, that's the problem that Danny Rule has. He can speak about having the quality to win the title, and he's correct, but as the minutes pass by, this season of all seasons, the tension will become unbearable at Ibrox. If it gets to half time, they'll boo them off the park.
You wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, Rangers will be pretty relaxed for now, given that their home form has been good recently. Gordon, you look at even, there were little bits of the Aberdeen game. It can't always be rampant from start to finish on 90 minutes, but they've scored a lot of goals at Ibrox of late.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's 18 in 5 games, and you don't look at your two strikers when he was playing the two up top and think, they were prolific, because the goals were coming from elsewhere, and that's a good thing to have. Look, they're a real danger at set plays, Rangers, and they can get goals from there. There's only 15 minutes on the clock. You're just settling into the game, so plenty of time. Yes, they would love to get a goal before half time.
Barney Stewart's had another goal from the edge of the box over the bar, and we've got one of these
goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0. It's Paslak with the goal. Obita with the cross. Nicky Cadden's injured at the moment, remember, so Obita with the cross, doing what Cadden does, tap in, and Kilmarnock are all over the place. 2-0 Hibs.
Well, as you
First
said
call
earlier,
tonight at 5:05, Simon, the Kelly fan.
But as you said earlier, Cammy, Neil McCann will be disgusted by this.
And again, it's that old thing, but before you go out in the pitch, you say 13 seconds, start the game well. That'll be the message from the manager.
Don't give anything away in the first minute.
Incredible. But again, that is the message, start the game well, and it sets the tone for the rest of the game. It sets the tone for Hibs as well, though. Listen, once they get that early goal, they're at home, they'll be hungry for more. But Kilmarnock's away form has been terrible. There's no getting away from it.
Falkirk game.
They've been again the Falkirk game. But you look at the away form this season, it's been really, really poor. But it's just not the start of the game you want. You don't want it to start to turn embarrassing, because it looked as if they had sorted their defensive frailties, but they've certainly not done it in the first 15 minutes.
Suspicion that Hibs were only thinking about one game between now and the end of the season, and that's the visit of Hearts. Yeah, but they've, to be fair to David Gray and to all these players, that's the kind of start made by a team who've still got their full minds on their work.
Well, they're hunting down Motherwell, aren't they, at this moment in time?
Head knock at Fir Park. It's Stephen Welsh and Barney Stewart, so a bit of a delay in play there. But Dave Galloway, Storm Dave, says the goal was coming. Kelly looks shell-shocked.
Well, any more and they'll be more than shell-shocked. They'll have Neil McCann to deal with in the dressing room at half-time. Can imagine what that's like. But if they are, as Dave says, looking shell-shocked, then you have to suspect that Hibs will score more in the first half.
And if they do, it gives the incentive to St Mirren just to try and get that 3-point gap. Because a lot of people fancy them at home to a real poor Aberdeen side, you've got to say. But still a lot of, as we keep saying, twists and turns. A lot to happen.
Ross County 0, Airdrie 2. Chris
that's good.
I don't know if the Dingwall crowd, no offence to them, have got it in them to be that angry, but if they did, then my goodness, now would be a good time to express it. What about the other game in the Championship? We're talking about Partick Thistle. They've really closed the gap. It's a lot closer, I think, than people thought it would be at this stage. I don't know what the weather's like on the East Coast, but if it's anything like it is here, I don't fancy St Johnstone having to go to Arbroath today.
Oh my. How many? You actually take a sweep when you get in to see how many balls are going to lose on that sea.
But Thistle are down at Ayr. Maybe it's worse than the West Coast.
No, it's
today.
always wonderful down there. It's nice down there. I've got to say something. I fancy Mark to win that league.
Do you?
Yeah, I think St Johnstone will bottle it. I really do. I think there's something about Thistle. They've got a great team spirit about them. I know they've lost experienced
down to
players.
the bare bones,
I know
aren't
they are, Gordon. But sometimes that works in your favour. Everybody just pulls in the one direction. Obviously Mark there with his wee soft voice is just taking it along. Alex spitting all over the place. So they've just got a good
Too
blend
much information.
going. They've got a good blend going.
But Jim Duffy was telling me that and he's been there recently, and his Queen's Park side got a draw there
last weekend,
and he says that the pitch is so bad it actually makes it worse for St Johnstone.
Yeah, because they want to play, don't
they? Yeah, and they apparently the pitch is awful,
but the
and
pitch
it's actually affecting them.
It's always awful up in McDermott Park. It's always really, really poor at this time of the season. And
I thought McDermott Park was the worst place I had played it.
But it doesn't get much sun because it sits so low, and then you've got the big stands round it, so they really struggle for the grass to grow there. So yeah, you could imagine the pitch is poor. But listen, Arbroath will be wild today. That will be a real challenge for St Johnstone to try and take points away from there, and they need 3 points because you're right, Thistle are right on their tail.
I've got sneaky for Thistle, they really do.
Tello Asgard booked for Rangers for an elbow. It was a free kick to Dundee United. That doesn't come to anything being fairly flat, according to Gabriel.
Surprised by that. A fortnight break, maybe that has something to do with it, but so much riding on this for Rangers today. As I say, the symbolism of it all. For the first time in 2 years, for the first time under Danny Rule, to go top of the league would be a watershed moment, but they're flat when they should be inspired.
Derek McInnes could have gone to that game, of course. Gordon Dale kept a really keen eye on it, but he's gone to Fir Park because they do play Motherwell next. Or at least he said he was going to go to Fir Park because they play Motherwell next, and gets to keep an eye on them. The crowd are now up at Ibrox because 2 dodgy Dundee United tackles. They want yellow cards. John Beaton gives nothing, and the Rangers fans not happy. So on we go. Goalless there though after about 20 minutes, but not goalless at Easter Road, certainly not. 2-0 to Hibs against Kilmarnock, and Falkirk continuing their brilliant season by going 1-0 up at Motherwell very early on. And Barney Stewart, one of the stories of the season. Manny Longello is now down for Motherwell, injured, no foul though, says the referee. And we also wait for our first goal in Paisley.
And you might wait a while, given that Aberdeen don't score away from home, and St Mirren are battling the elements along with Aberdeen. But it's a brave decision by St Mirren to leave Craig McLeish in charge, because he has been entrusted with the club's status as a Premiership side, and that's a lot to ask of someone with no previous managerial experience. But he had that result against Falkirk. It did him no harm at all, and now today, if he beats Stephen Robinson, that's a big feather in his cap.
They've gone pretty close with a header, Miguel Freckleton from another Declan John corner, but nothing at the moment. The goalkeeper's all over the place at corners, according to Fraser Wishart.
That's not very encouraging, that, if your goalkeeper's flapping in the wind.
Well, it is the year of the goalkeepers. I've said that for the last couple of weeks now.
You've had a few digs at them, haven't you?
Aberdeen have changed a couple of times.
They've been terrible, honestly. I think there's guys just turning up that have found a pair of gloves in a wheelie bin.
I like Mitov as well. I think he's been a good goalie. He's had a poor season, and there's no getting away from it. He has made a lot of errors this season, but he's not the only one. I think you're right, Daz, that there's a number of goalkeepers that have made errors this season, and there's not really, for me, been an absolute standout either.
So we await the first goal at Ibrox, moving towards the midway point of the first half. Still Rangers 0, Dundee United 0. No real big chances to tell you about since that Ryan Nadiri header, so we will keep an eye out to see if we get anything closer there. It was a bit of a stop-start moment at Fir Park with Manny Longello getting treatment there, but remember Falkirk are already in the lead. Hibs cruising early on at home to Kilmarnock, and we're still waiting the breakthrough Paisley, as we mentioned. Goals going in down the leagues: Clyde 1, Stirling Albion 0, Marley Redfern with the goal. Remember, Stirling Albion got rid of their manager during the week as well. Alan Maybury no longer in charge. What about your teaser, Hugh Keevins?
Can you tell me the last 5 players to play for both Rangers and Dundee United?
It's a good question, very topical of course, given that they play each other right now, as we just covered at Ibrox. Let's try and help you along with some of the correct one, the incorrect ones. Jamie wants to throw in Lee McCulloch.
Nope.
And Gavin Ray.
No.
Wrong Dundee team, isn't it?
Dundee team.
Right, okay.
You played both, didn't you?
Yeah.
There's another one coming in for Richard,
sorry.
Richard Goff. Too far back?
No. Yes.
It's too far back. Right, okay. Let's see if there's anything else coming in at the moment. Not yet. Bit of a quiet start down at Somerset, like we mentioned.
Yeah, it'll be a tight game. But obviously, John Rankin, different voice in the dressing room. He'll get a reaction, hopefully. Maybe have tweaked one or two things as well. He'll know how difficult it will be against Partick, because the Partick are a right good side. I know they've got some big players missing for them, but they've still got a good squad there. So, yeah, I think that'll be a tight one, but I still see Thistle getting over the line.
It's a big game for Ayr as well, because they need to start picking up points to get away from that relegation playoff and relegation position. When you look at how close they are, sitting on 35, and if Airdrie win today, they would obviously go up to 30. So yeah, they're still in that relegation battle.
They've set about reinventing the club, new stands and new everything about
training
the place.
Pitch,
So I mean, it's unthinkable they might be in the third tier, but they have gone into free fall.
Motherwell almost caught playing out from the back there. Calvin Miller finds space and a shot saved. He's been absolutely brilliant for Falkirk in these opening stages.
I think he's been brilliant all year.
I've
got to say.
Excellent.
I think he's been different class, and I think David was right to name probably most of their team. For getting the top six, it was a team effort. It's not been an individual. I know you look at Miller, you look at their captain, Brad Spence, you look at Barney Stewart scoring goals, but I think it's been a massive team effort for where Falkirk are.
How close do you think Calvin Miller was to getting in the Scotland squad?
Must have been pretty close.
Yeah, I would say so.
50-man squad.
Well, it's all about the position they play, isn't it? We've got no wingers, so Finlay Curtis gets the nod.
Yep. Were you surprised that he gets a nod? No.
Like I said, there are no wingers.
The nod ahead of Calvin Miller, though.
If Finlay Curtis is operating at that exact level and he's a central midfielder, he's not getting in the squad.
No, but I mean, it was probably one of the two, wasn't it? That was a decision between him and.
I guess if you think the margins between them are fine, do you go for the younger one? Do you go for the one that comes in and really benefits from the experience?
Yep.
Perhaps there was some thought there. Good timing's everything as well, was it not? Steve Clark went down to the Kilmarnock Hearts game when he was very good. Sometimes that can put you in the manager's mind. 4-2 Elgin 0 down there in League 2. Scott Shepherd with a penalty, still waiting if we've got to see if we've got anything at Ibrox, which we don't.
Nadiri yet to score a league goal for Rangers.
The jury is well and truly out for me. I know that people shouting about stats and what he's bringing and everything like that, and I totally get that, because you've got to add a bit to your game, but for a Rangers centre forward, you've got to score goals.
But that's the biggest stat, isn't it, for a striker?
Yeah, got to score goals. Yep. Start putting the ball in the back of the net.
Again, you would rather have a Chris Boyd who's putting the ball in the back of the net and not moving about the pitch very much. So,
do you know, we talk about our top league, and obviously look at how tight the Championship is. League 1 as well, at the top, 1 point between them. League 2, 1 point between them. It's incredible. There's exciting stuff all the way down the leagues for every supporter.
Stenhousemuir 1, Hamilton Accies 0, Clyde 1, Stirling Albion 1 now. Tom Sparrow's been booked for a tackle on Leon McCann at Fir Park. Looked a bit naughty. One of those follow through ones where he's cleared the ball away essentially, but the follow through has caught Leon McCann. I'm sure VAR will be looking to see how high the contact was.
And that goal for Steny would put them top of the league today, actually.
And that would be incredible. I'm not expecting this to I'm not expecting that to be the headline grabbing title race in Scotland this season. But that would be a remarkable league win if Steny were to do that and come up to the Championship.
Gary Naismith's done a brilliant job since he's went in there. He's a very good manager, so I'm pretty sure his name will be getting bandied about the few jobs that are going about at the moment.
Yeah, that would be very impressive indeed. Although they had a missed opportunity, was it last weekend? They had the chance and lost his fife, I think.
Yep.
No sign of VAR on that Tom Sparrow challenge. The crowd are getting a little bit edgy at Ibrox, says Gabriel.
Booed off at half time if it's still 0-0. It's just the way, it's the way of life now. Celtic supporters 2 weeks ago at Tynedise, outraged, incensed, and turning their attention to the director's box. It's the way it is for the old firm.
The signs are not good for Kilmarnock. Hibs are looking a threat every time they go forward. Hibs almost benefited from an own goal. Aaron Tishbola deflected across and luckily went straight into the arms of Kellerus. Could have gone anywhere. So Killie need to compose themselves and make sure this doesn't get any worse before the break.
Do you think it's beyond them already, Cammy?
I think it is. Away from home, it's and listen, we mentioned it before, Hibs have got something to play for. They're after Motherwell, so they'll be looking to try and get that third goal, and the third goal definitely secures the win.
Handball claim for a Rangers penalty, nothing given.
You can almost sense the tension coming across the River Clyde. And that's...
Oh, this is interesting.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Kilmarnock, and it's Finlay Curtis, Scotland international as he's now referred to, who knocks the ball in, and that changes things because we were looking at Hibs 2-0 up, could have made it 3, well on top, and all of a sudden right back in the game. Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 1, Finlay Curtis with a close range finish.
Well, that just puts it back on the agenda. Because it's not all over, because they have scored and we haven't gone a half hour yet at Easter Road, so it's back in the melting pot.
He certainly stole my thunder, because I was just about to say, you're saying there the next goal would have been so important. If Kilmarnock get it, listen, Hibs to me always looks a bit edgy at home. You know, their performance against Livingston as well.
Oh, VAR's going to check it though for a possible offside.
I fancy Hibs strong in it.
But again, you mentioned it because it sounded as if Hibs were absolutely battering Kilmarnock, so it sounded as if they'd scored right at the right time just to stop that flow going forward, but it might be chopped off.
Dundee United coming into the game at Ibrox. Ferrugia again gets in, but it's the poor final ball when you get in the box, and it's such a frustration for Jim Goodwin or any manager in his situation, because you know your opportunities will be few and far between, so you've got to try and take advantage.
You've got to have quality at the end. When you get up the pitch, you're expecting your players to make it count. It's really, really important when you do get them opportunities, you try and take them, because as you say, Gordon, you won't get that many at Ibrox.
Stenny want that top spot, don't they? Two up.
Well,
keep your answers coming into. It's offside, it's no goal for Kilmarnock, so it remains Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0. Forget it, Finlay Curtis, sorry, the goal has been chopped off. Remind us of your teaser, Hugh. We'll keep the guesses coming in.
Tell me the last 5 players to have played for both Rangers and Dundee United.
Keep guessing at Clyde SSB. You've got about we'll go 10 minutes or so left to get your answers over on that one. Did we mention Stenny 2, Hamilton Accies 0? We did, and confirmation that Kilmarnock goal does not stand, and it remains Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0. That will be a real blow. Neil McCann would have been much, much happier having seen that one hit the back of the net, but it wasn't to be, and we've got a goal at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 1, Dundee United 0, and it is Ryan Nadiri. It's his first league goal. Asgard with the shot, saved, tap in, very easy finish, and as things stand, Rangers go top of the Scottish Premiership for the first time in 2 years.
Doesn't matter whether it's a tap in or a 25-yard screamer, it's his first league goal for Rangers. Ibrox can now relax, and I think their performance levels will rise now that they are in front and Dundee United are in bother.
Yeah, and again, it's perfect from the Nadiri. See if it's just a tap-in, as you mentioned there, it goes in the back of the net. That's all he needs to get his Rangers career up and running, because we mentioned the stats are key for him. He's a striker, he needs to score goals, and that's a big goal for Rangers.
You live for the moment, and as things stand, it's Ryan Nadiri who's put Rangers top of the league. That's the way the fans see it.
Yeah, keeper maybe should have done better with the initial shot, could have pushed it a bit further out.
Year of the keeper.
Well, yes, and you're on
And by the way, let me tell you now, Dundee United have had
maybe some issues.
A few howlers, have they not?
They have.
Oh, certainly.
The boy that started the season, he's left. Is he left the club now? Yeah.
He's now a cricket player.
Yeah, it sounds like another goalkeeping error that's gifted Rangers a goal.
But it doesn't matter as a striker, and it doesn't matter if it's 20 yards, 18 yards or whatever, but you got to be there and get them and tap them in. Follow everything in. That's what I was taught as a young striker. Follow everything in.
Great advice for any young goal getters
well,
out there.
Probably Nadiri has probably learned from that and gets his goal, first league goal today.
Yeah, and it's a significant goal. It is the one that moved Rangers top of the table as things stand. We need to see how this game finishes and then give Hearts their chance to reply, their right of reply tomorrow when they go to bottom side Livingston.
I think the more emphatic the win for Rangers, the tougher it becomes for Hearts, because it preys on the mind. You've got all night to think about it. So I think Danny Rule would like to see an emphatic win, and that's 3 upwards.
Wow. And to be fair though, there becomes a point in the season where you do legitimately have to start mentioning these things, and it's goal difference. Because we always, in years gone by, even when it looks like Celtic are going to win it early, we always say they're 8 points ahead, but really it's 9 when you look at the goal difference. So if we're talking about 3 teams being quite tightly bunched up, then arguably it becomes more important than ever.
No, absolutely. And again, you look at certainly Hearts within their last 7 games. I think there's only been it's all been 1-0 wins or losses for them, so it shows you how tight their games have been. I think it was only the Rangers one that was 4-2 that was out with the 1-0. So yeah, I think their games have been very, very tight. This is an opportunity. Rangers scored in the first half with 15 minutes to go. Can they get another goal, another 2 goals just to make it comfortable? But I think you're right, Hugh, as well. If they can go win this game 3-0, 4-0, it sends a message over to Hearts and says, over to you, go and show me what you can do away at Livingston.
Remind us of your teaser, Hugh, because do you know what I'm realising? It's becoming very tricky, because you're forgetting that Dundee United have had a couple of spells in the Championship, and there's some players that you might have forgotten about, is what I'm trying to say. So read the question again.
So can you name the last 5 players to have played for both Rangers and Dundee United?
Scott McScott is not far away, but he's thrown in Fraser Aird.
Throw him back out.
Okay. Ian Fenn has thrown in Sandaza.
Not Fran.
Okay.
Remember him?
And loads of people. Ian is one of them. Who else has thrown them in? There's a good few have gone for John Daly.
John Daly, no.
Right, okay. We've got one of these to tell you about.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Equaliser for Motherwell. It's Motherwell 1, Falkirk 1, and it is Elliot Watt. It is a volley from the edge of the box. It was a powerful hit, maybe. Again, goalkeeper, Scotland international Scott Bain, after last week, played pretty well actually for Scotland, but couldn't keep this one out from Elliot Watt, and we are level. David Friel called it. He knew there would be no shortage of goals in this one. Elliot Watt scores, and it's Motherwell 1, Falkirk 1.
Yeah, good reply from Motherwell again, just getting that goal that they wanted before half time, because again, if Falkirk went in at half time leading 1-0, it's always a different team talk for Jens. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with the response, and it gives them an opportunity now to go and win the game.
What an incentive for Mark Wilson down at Ayr.
Wow.
Arbroath 1, St Johnstone 0.
Arbroath 1, St Johnstone 0 is quite right. Ryan Dow, 10 minutes before the break. The door is open for Partick Thistle if they can take it, but they are still goalless at the moment. So the last goal in the Premiership there, Elliot Watt, corner, headed to the edge of the box, caught it sweet. No doubt whatsoever though, Scott Bain needs to do better. He will be disappointed. So will be John McGlynn. We're level at Fir Park.
After that magnificent save that Scott Bain made at the Hill Dickinson Stadium midweek for Scotland against the Ivory Coast,
looked quite assured for Scotland, didn't he?
Yeah, no, a really good showing from Scott. And again, his save was fantastic from a goalkeeper's point of view. He caught it really cleanly, and it was just a fantastic. It was almost behind him, and he has to claw it out wide of his left hand side. So yeah, brilliant save. But it sounds as if it's another goalkeeping error today, Daz.
And there'll be plenty more from now to the end of the season. Let's not be kidded here.
Do you think the Fraser's PFA Team of the Year is going to play without a goalie this year?
I would be, honestly, I would stand up, applaud Mr. Wisher if they just went with a backy. No goalkeeper.
Schwoloff's been decent for Hearts.
Yeah, no, he has. He's been fairly. Again, you look at it, he has made 1 or 2 mistakes, but he's probably been one that certainly would be up there in the top of the list. I'm trying to look through the list.
I know he's made errors, but I think it feels like Jack Butland's also made some big saves.
Yep. No, we totally agree.
He has made mistakes
against
as
Scott Bain. Scott Bain's had a really good season for Falkirk as well. Probably in the last 2 or 3 weeks he's actually had a couple of mistakes that have been in short space of time, so that's just fresh in your mind. But he's had a decent season as well, but I don't think there's been an absolute standout, whereas in previous seasons you would say, look, that goalkeeper's had an outstanding performance.
Callum Ward?
Yeah, Callum Ward's another one. Yep, absolutely, why not? So many clean sheets.
Most clean sheets in the league. I know a lot of that's down to the way the team plays in front. A real key part of the way they play.
He always makes big saves though, and I think it gets forgotten. I think there's always one save in a game that people forget about. It's almost like, when you watch Celtic and Rangers for years gone by, the goalkeeper will make one save and you don't really talk about it. I think he's done that.
Was he the one that kicked the ball out the Benji Diagram at Celtic Park?
Yep.
Yeah, he's had a couple of howlers. I think the one at Tynecastle. Then he get chipped in the... Was that this last season or this season? In that cup at the beginning of the season.
The League Cup against Clyde on the opening day of the season. I don't think that'll not be held against him. Because by the way, it wasn't his fault.
It was.
Are you a goalie here?
I was far too far out his line.
Are you a goalie here, are you?
No, I just think goalkeepers are not very good.
Callum Ward's been good.
Yeah, I'd like to. Clean sheets identify that, but he's not a lot to beat.
Asgard with a bit of a serious miss there. Really, Nadiri cuts it back. He has to just tap it in, but it sort of takes a while to get his feet sorted, and then the crowd are on him because they just think he should have been far more decisive. And the chance goes a begging. The crowd unhappiness doesn't extend as far as it could have, because Rangers are now in front, but they weren't up until semi-recently.
It just shows you, though, you're in a hard school now. If you thought it was hard up until now, think again, because now it's do or die time.
Yeah, a lot of excitement around the grounds, and probably none better than Paisley.
Wow.
Aberdeen.
Ross County 0, Airdrie 3.
Right,
Ross County dropped out of the Premiership, spent big experienced squad in the Championship against another of the teams that's round about them, and they've gone up to Dingwall and taken a 3-0 lead with only 39 minutes on the clock. That's a remarkable scoreline coming in.
That's incredible. I don't know who'd back them today.
No, but let me just tell you, I'll be staying in tonight. I thought Ross County had the performance at home.
The Stephen Robinson derby has a goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0, and it is Jonah Ayunga. It's a low drive from 20 yards, and it's Stephen Robinson's old team that takes the lead against his current employer.
Well, we bedlam now. The Aberdeen support are better than the Aberdeen team. We've had...
So is their bus. Their bus is good.
Fraser telling us that they've sold out their ticket allocation, but they watch rubbish. And Stephen Robinson has a real job in his hands now, because it was his decision to jump ship. He decided that Aberdeen was better for him than staying at St Mirren, and now, as things stand, he's got a fight in his hands to keep them in the division, and they've never, ever been relegated in their history.
It's quite remarkable. We knew they were in trouble anyway, and there's a long way to go today, but if that stays the way it is at the moment, that is massive.
Yeah, certainly is massive. Aberdeen are just in free fall. Everybody keeps telling me that they've got a good squad of players, but they don't seem to get results, and I totally agree with you. I think their supporters and their bus is better than the team that's on the pitch.
Potentially a big goal in the Championship, or both won. St Johnstone won, always a good sign when you're not behind for long as well. So Jamie Gullen, 4 minutes before the break, it's still goalless between Ayr and Thistle, so that means it would be as you were at the top of the Championship. Mikey Moore's burst forward again, he doesn't move it quickly enough. It went out for a corner to Rangers. Rangers would feel a whole lot better if that 1-0 lead could become 2 before the break, wouldn't they?
Well, as I say, the thing that Cammy and I were talking about earlier, you've got to sow the seed of doubt in the minds of the Hearts players, and if you get a good victory against...
well, on that note,
goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's a goal for Rangers. They are 2-0 up. It's a strange one. I think Dujon Sterling, he heads it off the Dundee United defender. The keeper nearly gets it. We think it crosses the line. Ryan Nadiri makes sure somebody scored. So it might go down as Dujon Sterling. I think it probably will, although Ryan Nadiri's trying to make a claim. But we'll go Dujon Sterling for now. Rangers 2, Dundee United 0.
Well, they're on their way to that emphatic result I was speaking about. As I say, sowing the seed of doubt in the minds of the Hearts players, because if it does rise 3-4, then Hearts kick off against Livingston, second place after 6 months on top, and I think subconsciously not at all sure about themselves.
Well, it cements two big things today. Rangers will go top of the league tonight, and Falkirk will cement the top 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we can finally move on and see where...
Well, they were taking care of their part of it anyway, weren't they?
Yeah, they're
Falkirk,
drawn, but I would imagine they might do well to win the second. Yes.
Falkirk have been really good so far.
Yeah, Falkirk are a good side, and I'm not holding that against them, but they're up against it mighty well.
Dundee United, is that, just with it being at Ibrox and so on before the break, is that the reality? Is that probably it done when it goes to 2 just before the break?
Yeah, well and truly. I don't think they've got the ability to come back, and I know goals change games, but even if they get one back, I would imagine Rangers would go on and extend their lead.
Perfect timing for Rangers to score just before half time. We were mentioning, just as we were speaking, we're saying it could become nervy in the second half if you don't get that second goal, but that'll just settle down the Rangers players. They should take care of business from here, certainly. And as Hugh said, they've got the opportunity to go and make it a real statement result today, to pass it over to Hearts and say, on you go, see what you can do tomorrow, and put the pressure on them.
Dundee is not good enough to be 2 down and salvage anything.
Let's be quick with this, Hugh. Remind us of your teaser, because I think there's one name that everybody's missing. I can't see any full, correct, comprehensive lists, so give us the question.
Tell me the last 5 players to have played for both Rangers and Dundee United.
There's one name missing who also played for Hearts. He's a sort of winger type. He also played for Hearts as well. Think round about the kind of championship era for all the clubs. That's the one that everybody seems to be missing. Elijah Just has a free kick saved. Liam Henderson booked for a foul on Tom Sparrow at the edge of the box.
Well, the focus is on Ibrox now to see how this scoreline progresses. I think if it's 3 or 4, Derek McInnes will go into that game tomorrow with just a little bit of trepidation.
I think no matter what the score is at Ibrox, Hugh, I think that game tomorrow against Livingston will be difficult.
Yeah.
I still fancy, I think Hearts have got enough. I know everybody talks about, going to Livingston, and it used to be the pitch, but the pitch is apparently brilliant now. But Big Marv, he knows how to set up for a draw. And he certainly make it very difficult for Hearts. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Well, no one finds it easy there. As I say, Rangers were 2 down the last time they were there. You remember the 4-2 game when Celtic played there? Celtic were 2-1 down after 7 or 8 minutes. So it's an awkward place.
And the last time Hearts had to respond to anything was when Celtic won, and then they went to Kilmarnock that night at Rugby Park, and they failed to respond in a good manner. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's a goal for Falkirk. It is a mess at the back from Motherwell, and Broggio has scored. Miller won the ball, poked it to him. Ben Broggio, the January signing up from Aston Villa, scores just before the interval, and Motherwell, who spent a lot of the season being very tidy at this sort of stuff, all a bit shambolic, and Falkirk take the lead.
Well, at least David Friel's getting a real match to watch. I'm sure he must be enjoying it. It's far from over yet. That might turn out to be the highest scoring game of the day.
Well, David did say there'd be plenty of goals there. 2 attacking teams, 2 very good teams, 2 teams that like to play football. He'll get more goals in the second half of that, there's no doubt.
Was it a mess playing out from the back, or?
Yep. Hold on a second, one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Ibrox falls silent because Dundee United have scored on the break. Very well taken, and that maybe just shakes things up heading into the interval. It was a tidy finish in the end. Rangers caught on the break, and Ibrox, which was about to erupt for half time, all of a sudden feeling a little bit differently. We have a half time whistle in Paisley. Let's go there first to Fraser.
Yeah, you can hear the St Mirren fans absolutely delighted. They're on their feet at St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0, with a few pantomime boos for Stephen Robinson before the game. There were boos for the Aberdeen players as they left the pitch from their support at half time, because the only surprise here is that St Mirren are only 1 up. It's been a totally dominant performance from the kick-off as they pushed Aberdeen back. The Aberdeen back three having to defend desperately at times. It was Jonah Ayunga with the only goal that separates the team. St Mirren just started with real purpose and real pace, Declan John a threat throughout the whole 45 minutes. Low cross was cleared in the first minute, led to a couple of corners. Liam Donnelly header touched over by Brathwaite. It was one-way traffic in the early stages. Donnelly again came close, this time a header from another John corner. This time it hit the top of the bar and over. Saints playing some really good high tempo football, knocking the ball around, playing into feet, getting them behind when they can, showing they can play football, pressing Aberdeen. And 20 minutes passed without Aberdeen being even close to threatening the Shamal George goal. Miguel Freckleton was next up with a header from another John corner. This time he headed wide. The big defender had his head in his hands. He knows he should have done better. 22 minutes, the Dons had an effort at goal. It was their first. Bilalovic drove from the halfway line, did really well. Good past Gogic for 22 yards, curled the ball just wide. The Shamal George at full stretch. Graham Shinney then did well on the byline on the left hand side. His low cross caused problems. It was scrambled away by the Saints defence. Much better from the Dons for a few minutes, but after that St Mirren again grabbed back the initiative. Devaney in midfield, absolutely dominant. John a real threat in the wide on the left hand side. The two strikers causing real problems to the Dons defence. Donnelly should have scored. O'Hara put the ball into the box. It was coming up for a real height, and I think Donnelly just misjudged his jump and the chance was gone, but he was 6 yards out and he should have scored. But then came the goal on 40 minutes. O'Hara free kicks on the right, he bent it in, it was flicked on, it wasn't cleared properly by the Dons defence. Jonah Ayunga did well on the edge of the box, got some space and drove the ball low past Brathwaite into the corner of the net. The big home support thoroughly enjoyed the game so far. They want a second goal for comfort after dominating that first 45. But what a test for Stephen Robinson back at Paisley. And at the break, I think he may make 2 or 3 changes. Nisbet must come on. You might see Armstrong come on. You might even see 1 or 2 other changes, because something has to change or they're going back up the road with absolutely nothing and in a real relegation battle. Half time in Paisley, St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
Half time, Ibrox. Here's Gabriel.
Half time, it's Rangers 2, Dundee United 1. Ryan Adiri's first league goal for the club, and Dujon Sterling's scrappy header had the hosts in total control, but a tidy strike from Arafata just before the break has given United a lifeline here, and the crowd, when they looked comfortable, are back on the edge of their seats. It's not been straightforward, but Rangers are just about getting the job done at the moment. Let's start with Nadiri's goal. It was just before the half-hour mark, and it was too easy from a United perspective. Telo Asgard had too much time at the edge of the box. A left-footed strike came high into United keeper Ashley Maynard-Brewer, who had to do more to punch the ball clear. And Nadiri was there to tap it in from a few yards out, and it's been a big day for the German, trusted to lead the line, currently delivering with that goal. He actually had a good header very early on as well, Gordon. It was just wide after a great ball in from Mikey Moore. The second goal was also not the prettiest, but hey, they all count here. Dujon Sterling turned the ball towards the net with his head after it had come in from a throw-in. Hit off a United defender, just about crossed the line despite the United keeper's best effort to keep it out. Nadiri was there to make sure it was in, but it had already crossed the line. United have threatened several times, especially through Neil Farrugia, who's burst through the Rangers midfield easily at points but had a poor final ball. And then the goal came there just before stoppage time. Amar Fata on the counter, cutting in from the left, beating a few players, and then just calmly side-footing the ball inside the far post. And it was almost one of those where you thought, has that gone in? It was so silent here. It wasn't much of a celebration from Fata, and the fans here not a peep. I mean, it looked like Rangers were going to be in total control, and it was going to be a question of how many goals, with goal difference potentially so crucial in the title race. But now the crowd are edgy. They were edgy after 20 minutes when it was still 0-0, Gordon, and they've only got a 1-goal advantage. Huge 45 coming up here at Ibrox at the break. Rangers 2, United 1.
Half time at Easter Road between Hibs and Kilmarnock. Dave Galloway.
Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0. A wonderful start by Hibs, who cut the visitors open straight from the kick-off. A long ball forward was knocked down. Neat footwork from Paslak, and he played Elding in for an easy finish after just 13 seconds. Kilmarnock looked shell-shocked, and the hosts made it 2-0 on 12 minutes. A great ball played in behind. Obita was onto it, and he squared for Paslak to tap the ball home. At this stage, at this early stage, one was looking at what was unfolding on the pitch, and you thought this could be anything here. The hosts were looking seriously threatening, and Tishbola nearly scored an OG when he deflected a cross into Roos's arms. Killie thought they'd pulled one back though when Curtis Cooley converted a ball to the back post, but it was ruled out for offside after a VAR intervention. But to be fair, they were looking a good deal better, like they'd weathered the storm. They forced a couple of corners and Kiltie tested Salinger from the edge of the box. A decent recovery then from Neil McCann's men after an absolute nightmare of a start. Maybe this game is not quite done just yet. At the interval though, it's Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0.
And it's half time at Fir Park between Motherwell and Falkirk. David Friel.
Yeah, half time, Gordon, good game. Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2. Falkirk ahead on the brink of securing the top 6. It's been a really entertaining half. Two teams having a goal, going toe to toe really. Barney Stewart put Falkirk ahead, 6 goals in 5 games. Elliot Watt then equalised, great volley. Scott Bain should have done better. But then right at the death, just before half time, Ben Brogio made the most of a Motherwell mistake. It was a real mess at the back to tap into the empty net just before half time. I'm going to predict there's going to be more goals in the second half. John McGlynn wanted a fast start from Falkirk. He got it. The opener came inside 3 minutes. Calvin Miller, the standout player on the pitch, won a free kick in the left, whipped in a superb cross. Barney Stewart found space in the middle of the box and sent a bullet header past Callum Ward. He became at that point the first Falkirk player since Anthony Stokes to score in 4 successive top flight games. Calvin Miller led the way. Falkirk kept pressing. Calvin Miller charged down a Callum Ward pass. The ball flew away. Barney Stewart put over the bar as well. Motherwell tried to get on the ball, but chances were pretty scarce. Elijah Justed a chance to land a Maswanese had a penalty claim turned down. But Falkirk kept going as well. Miller had another powerful shot saved by Callum Ward. But Motherwell, I think probably from half hour onwards, started to really play a bit, and they got the reward with the equaliser from Elliot Watt. Elijah Justice's corner, headed out by Philip Lisa. Watt caught it. He couldn't have caught it any sweeter on the volley from 20 yards. A great strike, but Scott Bain has to do much better. He got 2 hands on the ball, but he just pushed it into the net. Looks as if the half would end 1-1, but then a Motherwell's mistake let Falkirk in. Elliot Watt's pass back to Callum Ward was just slack. Calvin Miller, his perpetual motion, he moved in, poked the ball to Ben Brogio, and he couldn't miss from close range. Really good stuff, and hopefully more after the break. Half time, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2.
And we'll do a full roundup of the half-time scores. We're still looking for someone to get all the answers on this teaser, by the way. The last 5 players to play for Rangers and Dundee United. Some of you are pretty close. I think Scott McScott is the closest, but we're still looking for that one missing one. A former player who also played for Hearts in there as well. Give us your answers and we'll do the scores next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Let's do some half-time scores then around the country. The Scottish Premiership: Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1, Falkirk 2, Rangers 2, Dundee United 1, and St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. In the Championship, it's Arbroath 1, St Johnstone 1, Ayr United 0, Partick Thistle 0, Dunfermline 0, Morton 1, and Ross County 0, Airdrie 3. In League 1, Cove Rangers 0, Alloa Athletic 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Queen of the South 0, Montrose 0, East Fife 0, and Stenhousemuir 2, Hamilton Accies 0. In League 2, Clyde 2, Stirling Albion 1, East Kilbride 0, Annan Athletic 0, Edinburgh City 0, the Spartans 0, Forfar 2, Elgin 1, and Stranraer 0, Dumbarton 1. No English Premier League today, just the one FA Cup tie which finished earlier. Man City 4, Liverpool 0. Let's round this off if we can, Hugh. I don't even know if we got anyone on the podium, did we?
The first half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
The last 5 players to have played for both Rangers and Dundee United are John Souttar, Glenn Middleton, Nicky Clark, Billy King and Charlie Telfer.
Tough question that. We got 2 on the podium, so the third place spot lies empty. Mark Patterson was second, but Michael Donati was the winner. Well done to you all. We'll have a Who Am I and the second half's up and running next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team round the grounds. We're about to get the second halves underway. We've had some changes. Stephen Robinson's not happy. He's gone for 3 at the break against his former team. Armstrong, Nisbet and Olasanya on. Lazatic, Keskinen, Balalovic off. The front 3 off. That tells you everything you need to know. Gabriel, anything happening at Ibrox?
Yeah, Gordon, 2 changes coming at the break for Rangers. It's going to be Yusuf Chimiti and JD Gassama coming on. The team just running out of the tunnel now, so working out who is coming off. It looks like Ryan Ndiri is coming off after scoring his first league goal for the club. And Skov Olsen as well, who came into the lineup today, is hooked at half-time. And we are back underway at Ibrox.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Look across all these games, Hugh Keevins, how big is the next 45 minutes?
Huge. Skov Olsen could create some sort of record by going back to where he came from, not getting a permanent move to Rangers, but with a championship winner's medal. But the second half, the goal that Fatah scored for Dundee United alters the complexion slightly, because Rangers are still walking on eggshells. If Dundee United made it 2-2, pandemonium inside Ibrox. When Stephen Robinson makes 3 changes at the half-time and takes off the front 3, he's disgusted, and he has got one bad team on his hands. They had better score in the second half, and they've only got one away goal in 2026. As for the relegation issue, Kilmarnock 2-1 now at is it 2-0 though?
2-0.
2-0, yep.
No, I don't fancy Kilmarnock to get anything out of their day. So top and bottom, all to play for.
Yeah, the only surprise is Ndiri for me, as he picked up a little knock, because obviously the confidence of getting that goal at Ibrox today. I thought maybe if he was going to change it, he'd have went back to his front 2 again, Chermiti on, but he's decided to just go with a straight swap there. I totally agree with you. I think that if Dundee United can put Rangers under a little bit of pressure, but I'd imagine that Rangers, knowing how important this game is, probably stretch their lead.
We go back to what you said earlier. Next goal.
Yeah.
If Rangers go 3-1, goodbye. If it's 2-2, then inside Ibrox.
It completely changes again from being 2-0 up. If Dundee United had to sneak that next goal, it puts a huge amount of pressure on Rangers. I think the message from the manager will be start the second half well, try and get that third goal to make sure the 3 points are staying at Ibrox. But listen, you look at the other games, certainly Stephen Robinson isn't happy making all them changes at half time. Sounds as if it was a really poor first half from Aberdeen, but a brilliant one for St Mirren, because them 3 points today are really, really crucial for them.
Yeah, and I reckon by the end of the day he could bring on his kit man.
Well, it sounds like the St Mirren supporters appreciate what they're watching. It sounds like Craig McLeish is halfway towards another terrific result to add to his CV, and if he saves St Mirren from the playoffs, then he's got to be a real strong contender for that job.
Yeah, again, today's just such a huge result. Everything that comes around it with Stephen Robinson factor, Aberdeen, we all know they're a big club, but they're in turmoil at this moment in time. The pressure was on St Mirren. They're at home, they need to win games of football. They're doing that at the moment. There's a full half ahead of us to play, but if you can get that result today, it's huge.
Right, we are back underway. Falkirk with a chance. Can you imagine they scored early in this and made it 3-1 at Motherwell? That would be a long way back. Miller played in Broadview, but it took too long to shoot. Overhead kick from Dundee United already. Fatah, but it's straight at Butland. Did you know Aberdeen did not have a single touch in the St Mirren box in the first half?
My goodness. Wow. That's a shocking statistic. You get people coming a long way on a day of awful weather, and weather to worsen before the day is much older, to watch rubbish. And Aberdeen are in severe decline as a football club. They used to be a big club. I mean, we heard Fraser talking about meeting Alec McLeish and Willie Miller prior to the game starting. They represent the golden era. The golden era is now a distant memory for Aberdeen, and to be in this position, never have been relegated in the club's history, but in danger of it now, shows you the job that Stephen Robinson is taking on. And I wonder if he's regretting it now.
They're in a mess though. There's no getting away from it. Top to bottom, that club is in a mess with the players that they've got that are not good enough on long-term contracts. Again, the mess of the whole bringing the manager in, how long it took them, Peter leaving, being an interim charge, and then it not working out. Almost looks as if they hit the panic button. And the sporting director, what's he doing? I just feel as if it's a club in real turmoil at this moment.
Well, the sporting director interviewed all his pals for the job, and nobody took it. And
could you imagine winning the cup and getting relegated?
Well,
and that could seriously happen. Could seriously happen.
The cup was last season, mind you, but I understand your point. But as I say, for me, they are a once famous club. The golden era has now given way to the miserable era.
Oh, what a turnaround from the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Dunfermline 2, Morton 1 now. Quick turnaround. Obviously a big team talk from Neil Lennon. They're in front. Chermites had a chance straight at the goalkeeper. So it's a lively start to these second halves.
Yeah, it's one of those days where the consequences of defeat are severe for some people, and some are in real danger. But we'll see what happens as time goes by. Ibrox, as I say, the fascination there. Will Dundee United manage to get an equaliser, at which point Ibrox becomes a very difficult place to play? Do Aberdeen get an equaliser? If not, then those fans will respond very, very badly, having travelled that distance to watch rubbish.
What else have we got? Kilmarnock threatening here. Hanlon, good tackle there. Polworth was about to pull the trigger. McGrath then, he's tried to shoot. VAR maybe going to take a look, but I don't think so. In that one, David Friel's predicting more goals, remember, for Park in the second half. Falkirk are leading at the moment. They really have had Motherwell's number so far this season with a win and a draw, and they're winning again today. These sides will need to play again later after the split. We've got another goal.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
And that changes things because it's Rangers 3, Dundee United 1. So any fear towards the end of the first half goes away at the beginning of the second. It is Tello Asgard. It was a cross by Gassama, who's just come on, slammed it home. It's been a really fast start from Rangers. They've had a few chances already, and it is 3-1. And as they stand, they were going top anyway, but it looks more certain now.
Oh, I said next goal, the important one for psychological reasons. Well, psychologically, Dundee United are on the floor, and psychologically, Rangers are top of the league.
Yeah, brilliant start of the second half, and exactly what the manager would have been saying to them. I said it before, that start the second half fast, take the game to Dundee United, look for that third goal. They went and got Asgard on the end of a cross from the substitute as well. Brilliant start.
Yeah, if you're Jim Goodwin, how disappointing that is. You work hard to get back into the game just before half time, you get your players in, organise, and Rangers come out and obviously probably put the game to bed now, you'd imagine.
I don't think there's any probably about it. There's no way that Dundee United could salvage so much as a draw. No way at all.
Well, next goal's so important if they could get one. Put Rangers under a bit of pressure. I don't think so myself. I'm only trying to debate.
Stalling for time.
I'm stalling for time, yes.
Yeah, so confirmation of that goal coming through only 7 minutes after the break for Tello Asgard. Rangers 3, Dundee United 1. And you would imagine that will be that. Although we did see that in the first half. Time to dust off the cliches. If Dundee United can score, there's a big goal though at the top of the Championship. Now it does increase St Johnstone's lead, because it's Arbroath 1, St Johnstone 2, and Thistle are still drawing at Ayr.
Surprised by that. You know, Thistle had to really take advantage of the fact that Ayr United have been on a desperate run. It's still goalless, but they will now know that St Johnstone have taken the lead, and their need for a goal is great.
You must be absolutely delighted, Bruno, get the sack.
Ecstatic.
0-0. I would have loved to have seen your face sitting at Somerset just now. 0-0, freezing,
storm
game
day,
rubbish,
no goals.
Oh, it'd been brilliant. He'd be walking about like he does at the PFA. To get home, you know. And to give me a lift up the road.
Chance for Motherwell. Tom Sparrow, ball over the top, takes the touch but cannot find the back of the net. Been a good game, that one, Falkirk in front at the moment. Yeah, long ball, good touch, but could not provide the finish. If Rangers could really put the foot down now, Gordon, it would send out a bit of a statement, wouldn't it? They'll take any win that moves them top for sure.
3 points, first and foremost.
When you go 3-1 up with a full second half to go, and probably take the wind out of Dundee United's sails in the process, there should be an opportunity.
Yeah, there's plenty there for Rangers to go at now. You're right, Gordon. I think that Dundee United will look at this and think, right, our chance is probably gone. It might be a long second half, and if Rangers can put the foot to the pedal, get a few goals as well, because
it's actually end to end, believe it or not. Waters is now beating Suter in a foot race. He kind of pulls it back, but saved by Butland's feet. But it does get the crowd up, and it gives Rangers a bit of a lift. It's end to end stuff.
Well, there's nothing to lose for Dundee United now. They know that if they don't get anything here today, which they don't look like they're going to get, their top 6 dream has gone. The chances have gone, so they have to go and throw players forward.
Any way back for Dundee United, Cammy?
Nah, I can't see it. I think that the early goal in that second half, I think you're right, it just takes the sting out of the game, and it deflates Dundee United, because the game plan from Jim Goodwin would be stay in the game, offer a threat, but don't concede. The longer it's one goal in it, then there's an opportunity for us to sneak something at the end of the game. So I just feel as if it's a little bit too far now.
Right, so anything else coming in at the moment? I don't think so, not yet. Wait and see if those changes make any difference to Aberdeen. The only positive, by the sounds of it, is they're only 1 down. Having said that, there's a blow for St Mirren. Killian Phillips limps off, and Scott Tanzer comes on. Do you think Stephen Robinson would try and stick an Aberdeen tracksuit top on him, take him back up the road, try and boost his
I think he might be trying to stick a St Mirren top on himself.
It sounds as if Aberdeen have been really poor today, and that'll be the disappointing thing from Stephen Robinson, is that they've not turned up in such a big game.
Ready for this, Hugh?
I am.
The second half teaser with Architland Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
I am loving the first sentence on the Who Am I played with Robin Van Persie and Simon Murray.
Wow.
There you go. Robin Van Persie and Simon Murray. I was managed by Owen Coyle and John Hughes. I won silverware with more than one Scottish club. Who am I? Played with Robin Van Persie and Simon Murray. Managed by my old pal Owen Coyle and John Hughes. And I've won silverware with more than one Scottish club. Who am I?
At Clyde SSB. It is a race, so get your thinking caps on and scribble something down quickly. Well, not scribble, you know what I mean. Type it out on your phone or whichever device you choose, and tweet us at Clyde SSB. Interesting from Craig McLeish. Declan John goes off as well with Dan Lindeloo. So he's gone 3 up. He's finished with his 3 in midfield. He wants to mix it up, and spotted something he doesn't like, which is his prerogative. He's 1-0 up, Gordon, so that's always interesting, the kind of proactive approach.
Yeah, I like that. Rather than looking at the situation thinking, right, we could probably hold on here, and it's got to be a long half, because we touched on it, Aberdeen not even a shot and not even a touch in the 18-yard box of St Mirren's in the first half. But he's positive. He smells blood. He wants the 3 points. Another goal cements it for him, so I like the look of that. That's on the front foot for me.
This guy's imposing himself in a very positive way very early, and if he can put Falkirk and Aberdeen down for victories this early, he's doing a grand job. And he's got to be a real contender if he can hold on to what he's got today.
Falkirk really close to a third. It was a brilliant from Calvin Miller, plucks out there, turns, he tries to chip the goalkeeper, who backpedals, gets a touch on it, hits the post, and then Ben Broggio with a chance to make it his second. So Falkirk really coming close to maybe putting that one beyond Motherwell. And there's a proper title race on in League 2. There's very little separating East Kilbride and Spartans. East Kilbride take the lead through John Robertson at home to Annan, and then straight away Spartans respond with a goal in the alternative Edinburgh derby, shall we call it. Edinburgh City 0, Spartans 1. Experienced goal-getter Mark McNulty.
And a real turn for Mark Wilson as Arbroath equalise against St Johnstone.
Ding dong up there, is it not?
Yeah.
So again, as you were at the top of the Championship, can Partick Thistle now go and find an opener in that one down at Somerset? Aggie has been booked for clattering Dujon Sterling. A decent chance for Rangers from the free kick. Killie have been the better team so far in the second half, but they still trail by 2-0.
Yeah, they need a goal. They need a goal to give them a bit of hope, just to bring them right back into the game. Put a little bit of pressure on Hibs, but well, it's still 2-0. It's quite comfortable for Hibs.
It would have been a strong team talk from Neil McCann at half time. Pretty sure he'd be disappointed. Just the manner of losing the goal after 13 seconds, that's unacceptable. But they need a goal back. They need the next goal. It's so important. We mentioned it at Ibrox. It's the same at Easter Road. If Kilmarnock can get the goal back, it just puts a little bit of pressure on Hibs.
We await to hear anything else from Ibrox. Rangers fairly comfortable now with that 2-goal advantage. We mentioned there Killie the better, and we've got a Falkirk penalty as well, so a chance for them to really put this game beyond Motherwell. They're 2-1 up, chance to make it 3 from the spot. It was side on Philip Lisa, and it has been a penalty awarded to the Bairns.
What's happening with Motherwell? Never lost one goal in about 13 games. Now we're throwing them in left, right and centre.
Falkirk, I'm telling you, they are some team.
Yeah, Falkirk have got the making of Motherwell this season, haven't they? Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a second win at Fir Park and a draw at the Falkirk Stadium. So.
Yeah. Obviously, John's done his homework, knows how to play against us.
Well, as things stand, Hibs would go on to 51 points, Motherwell on 54. So 3 points is no
closes in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Bad time for Jens Bertel Askell to lose form.
Yeah, it was a foul from a corner, just one of those classic grappling ones that sometimes get given, sometimes don't, but you're always looking, is the ball going in that area? And I think safe to say it was. So always going to be hard for VAR to overturn that type of thing. You don't always see them given, but this one has been, and Calvin Miller has the ball. He's been outstanding for Falkirk today. Going to have to try and cap it all off with a goal from the spot, which would probably win the game for Falkirk. That would be a long way back for Motherwell.
Too long, yep.
I think we all went for Motherwell in the studio, didn't we?
So it's your fault.
Yeah,
I think we've jinxed him.
Up he comes.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And this is brilliant stuff, this from Falkirk. Motherwell 1, Falkirk 3. Calvin Miller, one of the standout performers of the season, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way and looking very, very comfortable now, the Bairns.
Falkirk get home to Rangers next weekend,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, but listen, I don't like the fact that Motherwell are losing, but I'm delighted that Falkirk are doing it off their own back. They've had a brilliant season. They shouldn't need to look at Ibrox and watch a result coming in there. Go and do it yourself, and they've certainly they've done that for Park today.
I said it before, the game, we all fancied Motherwell, but there was definitely an element where you could see Falkirk going to Motherwell and winning the game today. There was no getting away. They've been that good this season. They've had really good performances. Some
you
good
should never
showings.
really bet against Falkirk this season.
No, that's what I'm saying. But when you look at, you felt like Motherwell, they would eventually turn it around. They're at home. They don't concede goals, but certainly Falkirk have been the better side today and deserve their lead.
And all of a sudden, 3 points between Hibs and Motherwell.
It's not
And Motherwell go to Tynecastle.
All the praise Motherwell have had, Hibs not really had any of it. 3 points.
I think the
between
manager
them.
should go. That's all I'm saying. Out.
They've not decided to opt for Halliday yet. Things can't be that desperate. Is he even on the bench, actually? I've just assumed because he was in the last few weeks. But they've decided to put on Sam Nicholson, try and get themselves back into this game, but it does look a long road back now. He is indeed on the bench.
Is he on the bench?
Yeah.
That's about time we got him on.
Suspect he'll stay.
Oh, there's another goal from St Johnstone.
Yeah, big goal at the top of the Championship. It's a great game that are both to St Johnstone 3. So as it stands, St Johnstone would stretch their lead. There's been nothing coming from Partick Thistle at Ayr yet. Goalless in that one. Dunfermline 3, Morton 1. Aberdeen look likely of getting an equaliser. That'd be a good sign. Good sign for Stephen Robinson having made the changes.
A good sign for a big Aberdeen supporter who've come all the way down the road. They need something to cheer.
Well, they're now trying to keep their players afloat in the Premiership. They're an amazing support because they travel every second week. Big
How would you do that?
And basically this season they've been watching rubbish. But they don't let the team down, the club down. As I said, the support's better than the team, but it remains to be seen whether they can.
They have got to get over the line.
Oh, there we go though. Here nil, Partick Thistle 1. Cale Loughry with the goal. So that's back to as you were at the top of the championship. Remember, John Rankin is in charge of Ayr United these days, given Scott Brown's departure during the week. The former Hamilton Accies manager put in charge until the end of the season, and the bounce not quite working yet. Partick Thistle 1 up.
I would have missed that goal. I'd have gone home.
Yeah, you'd have been. You'd have done what I usually do, been up the road
before hypothermia set in.
I really do fancy. I fancy Mark to win that league. I really do.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a good result if he can get the 3 points there, because it's always tough when a new manager comes in for a club to then have to face them, so it would be a brilliant result.
Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
I played with Robin Van Persie and Simon Murray. I was managed by Owen Coyle and John Hughes. I won silverware with more than one Scottish club. Who am I?
Jamie wants to suggest Stephen Fletcher.
No.
What about Dylan McGeoch, according to Forza Gers?
Dylan McGeoch and Robin Van Persie. That would be quite a pair.
Yeah, both play at Carlisle. Come on, mate. Tell me you've got this one. This is the easiest one.
I've not even been thinking about it, to be honest.
My goodness.
Okay, I will.
A break for Rangers of 3v2. Gassama sprints through, sets up Chermiti, but it's a poor finish straight at the keeper. It doesn't necessarily jeopardise the outcome because they're 3-1 up.
How often have we used that expression this season? It's a poor finish by Chermiti.
Yeah, that would be one. Gordon, again, we're probably hyper analysing because it looks like Rangers are going to win, and that's the most important thing. But on a day like this, if you're 3-1 up and you're at home and you've got chances, might be a good time for Chermiti to try and get a couple of those goals that just boost the numbers. You know, they're not going to change the outcome of the game, but you'd imagine there are more opportunities there for them.
Yeah, certainly. And I think that the way Rangers go about their business, they can get goals all over the pitch. I think if you can get your strikers firing just now with 7 games to go, well, 6 and a bit, you've got a great chance of winning this league. And I think that's where I think Celtic are lacking a little bit for me. I'm not confident in the front three at all. And you look at Hearts, Braga, Shanklin, they'll certainly be in amongst the goals, I'm sure of that. So it'd be a great boost for Rangers if they could get their strikers scoring goals.
Well, we'll see how Braga and Shanklin get on in Livy tomorrow. Although the Dazzler has got the Who Am I?
Excellent, Daz.
Sharp.
Took you longer than normal.
I know, but didn't really think about it until I heard the question
excuses,
again.
Is it? Okay.
No, I was laid back, casual and relaxed and enjoying the show. So then I thought I may as well get the half-time teaser sorted out.
Greg Kilty's had a shot parried away by Salinger. Kilmarnock probably need something soon if they're going to rescue anything at Easter Road. Hibs have been 2-0 up for quite some time now. Remember, Kelly thought they had pulled one back earlier in the game through Finlay Curtis, but it was offside. Carestes has now been booked for Dundee United. Looks a fairly long road back for them. 3-1, and it's the same scoreline in favour of Falkirk at Motherwell. So Motherwell heading for a 4th consecutive game without a win. Hibs are closing in on them. Falkirk maybe left themselves too much. What would that be, 8 points behind Motherwell with 6 to go?
Yeah,
certainly possible in the balance of what we've seen today.
And again, when you look at it as the split, so there's opportunities there to pick up points against the teams round about. Yeah,
but can you go and but that's difficult, isn't it? Maybe for Falkirk to pick up 8 points more than Motherwell.
No, Falkirk ain't catching Motherwell.
No,
not a chance.
Motherwell are away to
not a chance.
Hearts next week, and Falkirk obviously got Rangers, so it would need to be a big weekend for Falkirk.
Yeah,
and then you cut that gap to 5.
No,
still not going into the split. You can't change 5.
No,
okay.
No, I'm saying that Falkirk brilliant this season. I don't think they'll catch Motherwell at all.
The focus for me now is the Smizer in Paisley, because Rangers are just about over the line, Falkirk are just about over the line, Hibs are just about over the line. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. It's what, 10-15 minutes to go.
Yeah, pulls St Mirren level on points with Aberdeen if it stays this way. Absolutely remarkable. And even a Killie equaliser, well, I was going to say equaliser, they've got a bit of a long way to go, but it would be a combination of results that would leave Killie as the team in 11th, when I think most people were kind of looking at them as being the ones that would get out of it.
I think when you look at Kilmarnock, though, they're not strong away from home, so it's going to be their home games that are going to be key. They need to start picking up points away from home, absolutely. But today I always looked at, I don't think they've won at Easter Road for 10 years, so it's no surprise that Kilmarnock aren't winning at Easter Road. I still feel as if they've got enough to get out of it.
Rangers fully on top now at home to Dundee United. Remember that third goal into the second half, Tello Asgard, that's really put a different feeling on things. It's become a comfortable afternoon, Hugh.
Yeah, and a fourth goal, the optics, a 4-1 win. Hearts got a lot to think about overnight. The story has been set now. Rangers are top of the league. Hearts must regain the initiative tomorrow. If they don't, there's trouble. And Celtic, what will be for them at Dens Park. I just think that Celtic do not have a squad of players good enough, for one reason or another, because of injury and because of poor signings. I just don't think Celtic have a squad good enough.
If Hearts can't go and no disrespect to Livingston, if Hearts can't go to Livingston tomorrow and win the game of football, they won't win the league. Not for me. Again, the other games you've got to go and win.
Depends, because as Hugh says, Rangers didn't win there just a few weeks ago.
I know, but now we're running out of games. We're getting into the area where games are massive for every club. So Rangers had to win today. It looks like they're going to do that. It's the exact same for Hearts tomorrow. So you feel like Hearts need to, and again the pressure's on, so it'll be intriguing tomorrow to see what happens.
Don't think St Johnstone are going to slip up today. Arbroath 2, no. St Johnstone 4. Jack Baird. Now Thistle are still winning, but only by a goal to nil, so it would remain the same.
I think that's a real big result for Simo Valakari, because it's murder at Gayfield in August, never mind in April with Storm Dave on the go. So that's a real big result for them, or big scoreline, soon to be result.
And Motherwell looked done according to David Friel. Falkirk now making a couple of changes as well. Ross and Wilson on for Yates and Broadjo. This has been excellent from Falkirk. They've been really, really good. They've had so many impressive performances this season, and this would go down as one of them for sure, heading towards a good victory, a second victory of the season. We've got a goal at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's a goal for Dundee United. Wow. Maybe there is life left in this. Zach Sapsford is very well worked. He scores, and if Ibrox got a bit nervy at the end of the first half, pretty sure it'll be even more so now. Fata driving in again, cuts the pass, the ball's then cut back, and Sapsford provides the finish, and it is nervy at Ibrox. A blow for Partick Thistle. Ayr have equalised Jamie Murphy's penalty, so as it stands, St Johnstone would open up a bigger gap, but the headline at the moment, Dundee United giving themselves a chance here, Hugh.
Well, we're now talking about mood swings. There are probably going to be 20 minutes left at Ibrox, and it's 3-2, and therefore the crowd are living on their nerves, and a third goal for Dundee United, and they really will be booing.
And this is what happens, Hugh, when you've got a striker that can't put the ball in the back of the net. Like Chermiti had a 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper to make it 4-1. If that's a striker that's a Lawrence Shankland, for example, that's in the back of the net. That's the game over. It doesn't happen. Chermiti misses a chance. The Dundee United goalie saves it, and they're not in control of the game. And now it's just give Dundee United that lifeline.
Gives them a wee bit nervous.
Just checking it for offside, though. Checking it for offside, so just hold your thoughts.
Hold on.
Yeah, don't get too carried away.
Yeah,
exactly.
We've been down this road before.
We're the people that people don't think about, fans and players. What about us trying to report on goals? We don't know if they stand. It does stand. It's Rangers 3, Dundee United 2.
As I say, it's about mood swings now. The Rangers crowd will be tentative, in fact angry at the concession of 2 goals. This is not the emphatic win that was going to trouble Hearts overnight. It's not yet established as a win at all.
I think the change Rangers have made is quite telling, Cammy. Miovski for Asgard. Clearly Danny Rule thinks Rangers' best chance here is to score again, rather than try and sit on this 3-2. He's been criticised, I think, for Park as an example. That's an away game. It's a bit different for maybe being a bit safe. He's gone and put a striker on for a midfielder to try and go and score again. He maybe doesn't fancy seeing this out 3-2.
Listen, he'll be criticised if they concede a goal though, so there's no getting away from that. This decision to try and, I get what you're saying, you're trying to score that goal and it's maybe the best way of defence is attack, but if this doesn't work, he'll get criticised for that decision as well, because it'll be an opportunity of drop points, an opportunity to go top of the table. And Hugh, listen, the Rangers fans will just take a 3-2 win at this moment in time,
without doubt. Even though they'll complain about it, the calls after 5 o'clock I think will be a mixed bag. There'll be, if Rangers are top of the league, there'll be obvious satisfaction for some, and there'll be dissatisfaction from others who say, what kind of way is that to stumble to the top? So that's the world we live in.
Remind us of your teaser, please, Hugh.
Yeah, I played with Robin Van Persie and Simon Murray. I was managed by Owen Coyle and John Hughes, and I won silverware with more than one Scottish club. Who am I?
Kevin thinks it's Chris Eagles.
No.
I know he came up here but didn't really win anything, did he? Sai thinks Nicky Clark.
Nicky Clark with Robin Van Persie.
Maybe that was an answer to the first half teaser that's just been sent to the wrong place. Ross County and Airdrie 4.
Yeah, wow. That's now just a humiliating result for Roy McGregor, the owner of the club. The money he's put in, the players who have been signed, the wages he's paying. They're bottom of the league, hammered by Airdrie. What now for Ross County?
Just incredible. I think that scoreline and where Ross County are at this season. Change of manager, it's not worked. Stuart Kettlewell going up there, he got a couple of results at the start and then it's just fell away back into what's been the rhythm this season, which is defeats.
Well, they're going to be relegated or they'll be in the playoffs.
One absolutely.
Yeah. And you would not fancy them in the playoffs at all.
But you've got a lifeline, do you know what I mean? This result today is really damaging for them at home.
Yeah, that's an incredible scoreline coming in from Dingwall. Still time for it to get worse as well, which is remarkable. Over 10 minutes left in that one. Rangers 3-2 up against Dundee United. And the mood inside Ibrox will be nervy, I am sure.
It can't be any other way, because 3-3 will be regarded as an awful performance, an awful result, an awful way to stumble onto the top of the league by 1 point, and there'd be all manner of criticism, and it would start with Danny Rule. However, if they hang on, such is the way of the world. 1-3-2, went 3 points ahead. Over to you, Hearts.
I've got to say, if Dundee United had to get a point here, right, and Hearts go to Livingston tomorrow, Hearts are firm favourites for me to go and lift this title.
Yep.
They really are. This could be a big weekend in football.
Is there a third
Rangers
goal,
are still
though?
in that situation.
Is there a third goal for Dundee United? That's the big question that remains, because that would be some effort going to Ibrox and scoring 3 times.
Yeah. That's concerning for Rangers. If they were to even conceding 2 goals, and as I say, no disrespect to Dundee United, but it's a worry when they get in a good position, they're in control of the game, and then they lose control at that moment. They allow the opposition a lifeline. And again, this isn't one of the top teams. This is a team that's sitting in the bottom 6.
But a funny season, made a great question last night on Super Scoreboard about late goals this season. And we've seen, Rocco at Kilmarnock, we've seen Max Aarons at Livingston, 94 minutes. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for Celtic against Livingston. Ian Acho for Celtic against Kilmarnock. Callum McGregor for Celtic against St Mirren.
Yeah, we've had some late drama for sure.
Yeah.
Will we get any nervousness maybe creeping in the League 2 title race as well? Because East Kilbride 2-1 up against Annan now, and Spartans are comfortable. They're gone into the distance. They've won the game, so maybe the East Kilbride fans will be getting a bit anxious there.
It might be snowing up there.
Great cross from Kilmarnock to the back post, but Finlay Curtis couldn't convert either, so you think time may be running out now for Kilmarnock. Brian Graham's come on for Barney Stewart. Spends more time in here with you these days, but you can't argue being understudy to Barney Stewart at the moment, can you?
No, and I think Brian will obviously be doing a lot of work behind the scenes and training, passing on that bit of experience. And he'll know that as a centre forward he is playing second fiddle to a young lad that's really been absolutely brilliant lately. So he's an experienced guy, he knows how it works, but he's on there to make an impact, and hopefully for him get another goal. Hopefully for us not, because I don't think I could sit and listen to him next week.
I loved his critique of the Hill Dickinson Stadium. He did everything from the
architecture to
the buses that take you
facilities.
into the ground and back into the Liverpool city centre, the food stalls. He did the whole lot on Thursday night.
Elijah Justice had a shot saved for Motherwell, but it looks like too far back for them anyway. They're 3-1 down, about 10 minutes to go, so you wouldn't give them too much. They are pushing, but I think it's just a long road back, and Falkirk have been very good.
It's all going quiet in Paisley, not a cheap. Still 1-0 for the Saints.
You are right, and then again there's a nervousness creep in there, because they will know that an Aberdeen equaliser does change things.
But it's, for Craig McLeish, if you beat Falkirk and Aberdeen in successive matches, you're doing a grand job.
And they go to Celtic last game, is that right?
Yeah.
Before the split.
And then they play Celtic in the Cup semi-final.
Oh, yeah, so they do, yeah. It's a big couple of weeks coming up for him. But yeah, he's got off to a great start there. If you can hold on to this 1-0, obviously.
Goal in Paisley.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 0, and it is Alex Gogic. It's a header from Scott Tanzer's corner. It looks like it wraps up the 3 points for St Mirren and pulls them level on points with Aberdeen on 30. Aberdeen now just 3 points above the relegation playoff spot and dropping.
It is a dream start for Craig McLeish in the St Mirren interim manager's job. It is a nightmare of a start for Stephen Robinson in the Aberdeen job. The Aberdeen fans will now be giving their team what for, and again they're still on that stat: 1 goal scored away from home in 2026. And tonight Aberdeen are in the relegation mire,
and they play Hibs at home next week in their last game before the split. You wouldn't fancy them in that either, the way they go about their business.
No. Big chance for Motherwell there. Maswanisi just maybe slightly gets away from him. Scott Bain off his line. That was probably the chance gone. That could have maybe changed things up in the closing stages. But Falkirk 3-1 up, not that long to go. You'd imagine it's a very well earned 3 points for the Bairns. The St Mirren fans, sympathy in short supply. You're getting sacked in the morning, they shout to Stephen Robinson.
Well, as I say, Stephen Robinson, Aberdeen used to be a big club and it used to be a big job to get, but it's not anymore. And
but you couldn't knock him for
no, you
yet.
Understand why he's taking the
There's
job.
still
a chain in Scottish football, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, I'll be taking that all day.
No, and listen, it's not happened, and I really am worried for Aberdeen, because
don't want to be too crude about it, but you'll know it's a bigger job when the contract gets put down in front of you.
Absolutely.
Compared to what your previous contract was.
Well, let me tell you, you're going to the cash line with a bit of joy in your face.
I think they also say, I hope he's renting a house in Aberdeen, he hasn't bought one.
I think certainly be renting.
They'll be shocked by I think he'll be shocked by the standard of player up there. I think he would have been thinking, going up there, it'll be a good standard of player. I think the recruitment's been really, really poor, because they spend a lot of money up there. A lot of money, a huge budget, and I don't think they spent it very well in the right areas.
Amar Fata continues to do well for Dundee United. He's been really good, actually, hasn't he? It's not been a vintage season for Dundee United, but he'd be a shining light, would he not?
Yeah.
Do you know what a job Alex Gogic does for St Mirren? Incredible.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
Scorer of the second goal. He's a real mainstay for them, and I repeat, they've got Celtic League and Cup back to back, and Gogic should be a big man.
He's really enjoying his football, and he's such a lovely lad as well, I've got to say. Really nice bloke. I'm delighted for him.
Does he know who you are?
Of course he knows. Everybody in Motherwell knows who I am. Chug. For goodness sake, they've named schools and everything after me, and you're asking, does he know who I am? Yes, of course he does.
You get spotted everywhere, don't you? Even far away from Motherwell. Everywhere you go, people are on your case, I've noticed recently. You get all sorts of correspondence in about you.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people get me mixed up for someone else.
No, is that what it is?
You look like somebody else.
That wee superhero from
wee
Toy
Barney
Story.
or something, what do you call him?
Darby.
Wee Barney.
Wee Darby.
Oh, Dundee United hit the post at Ibrox. Can you imagine the exhale of relief when the Rangers fans see it come back off? It was a corner, a header. It is on the edge. Rangers now on the counter though. If they could score and wrap it up, the roof would come off the place. But Dundee United coming very close.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear how the callers interpret this game.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Rangers, and that will be that this time, surely. We talk about fine margins, talk about big moments in title races. Dundee United hit the post, Rangers back up the other end. Miovski across goal, into the back of the net. Rangers 4, Dundee United 2.
Well, that's the way it goes. So close to an equaliser now, so far from getting anything. So Rangers go top. They've scored 4, but they've lost 2 and might have been 3. That's why I say when the calls come in at 5, it'll be interesting to see how people, the Rangers fans, interpret this result and performance.
I think the closer you get to the end of the season, Cammy, it really becomes about 3 points. He scored 4 times. Yeah, conceding 2 is not ideal, but scored 4. They're going to get 3 points now and go top of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 points it was vital today. We spoke about it, how much it can put pressure onto Hearts tomorrow. It puts them top of the league for the first time in 2 years. So it was most important they got the 3 points. They've done it now, but not probably in the style that we expected them. They were in really good position, 3-1 up, then they concede a goal, put pressure on themselves, but Majowski's came up with the goods at the end just to make sure they get over the line. And it's a good 3 points for Rangers.
What an odd season he's had.
Majowski, yeah.
Largely ignored by Danny Rule. So today you've got Nadiri scoring his first league goal for Rangers and Majowski setting the seal on Rangers' win. So everybody happy with the exception of Chermiti, who has not managed to do anything.
Still time, but that 4th goal, Gordon, puts a different spin on it. We've said this every time Rangers have scored, but we're much later into the game now. And
it just lifts that pressure, doesn't it? It takes that. You speak about Dundee United getting up and hitting the post. It's a great chance for them, but when you get that 4th goal with what you're looking 5 plus added on, it takes a big massive pressure, not just off the players but probably in the stands as well. They'd have been a bit anxious because they know how important it is to go top of the league.
Let's round this off, Hugh.
Yep.
The second half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
I played with Robin Van Persie and Simon Murray. I was managed by Owen Coyle and John Hughes. And I won silverware with more than one Scottish club. That means I'm Anthony Stokes.
Anthony Stokes, Robin Van Persie at Arsenal, Simon Murray at Hibs, and so on. Owen Coyle at Blackburn, John Hughes at Falkirk. Won the cup with Hibs, won stuff with Celtic, and there you are. Lots of you got it. Well done. Good standard out there. Ross Burnett, forgive me for the pronunciation, is 3rd place. Henke Moravchik in 2nd, and The Saint is the winner of the second half teaser. Well done to you. Plenty more where that came from in the coming weeks. Rangers 4, Dundee United 2. That was the last goal to go in there in the Premiership, so nothing else has changed since then. You suspect Motherwell are too far back, so Falkirk will get a good win there. Again, probably St Mirren, they're ahead by 2-0. No way back for Aberdeen, you can't imagine. So I don't think anything is really in the balance anymore. Hibs are 2-0 up against Kilmarnock, so you can all relax and we'll see out the closing minutes.
So when, heaven help us all, do the post-split fixtures come out?
I would go early to mid next week,
so that we can get on with the conspiracy theories. I shall listen with great interest.
I mean, there undoubtedly will be some, for sure. The only thing you would say is we've known this top 6 for ages, and now there's so much analysis, there's so much scrutiny on social media. I feel like people already kind of know what to expect from these the post-split fixtures.
But believe me, there
No, of course there will be.
There's a conspiracy theorist out there, and he wants to speak to you the night that the fixtures come out.
Because there's three. If we're talking title race, there are three teams. It's all this notion that this has been done to help this team against, Team A against Team B. We're Team C in all of this, and of course, you've got Hearts in the mix. They're Edinburgh rivals. How are they going to feel about the potential for Hearts winning the title? So I do think a lot of people, sensible people, sort of almost know what to expect, because I think you can forecast them up to a point.
Yeah, hopefully, listen, it's different from a normal season. We all know that. As you mentioned, you've got three teams in there, so it's going to affect all three teams that are pushing for that title.
Because as an example, what do they always say? We have this debate about this notion that they try and avoid an Old Firm title decider.
Yep.
How are you going to do that? Because you don't know which of the three is going to win, and you don't know, when it could be won. So it's nowhere near as clear cut.
No, I think it's so unpredictable this season, and the top six could be really unpredictable with results that get thrown in there as well. So the fixtures are the fixtures for me. They come out, the teams need to go and face them. Yes, fans will have their say and they'll moan about where they are potentially towards the last two fixtures of the season, but listen, whoever gets over the line will be absolutely delighted. Their fans will be willing to celebrate wherever they need to.
Blow for Partick Thistle. It's finished Ayr 1, Partick Thistle 1. The Jags were down to 10 men in that second half. They took the lead, but Jamie Murphy's penalty cancelled it out, and they will now fall 5 points behind St Johnstone.
Yeah, I don't fancy them.
You've changed your tune.
No, but listen, there's still a bit of football to go, of course there are. But it's important that they cement that second place, which they will do anyway. That's guaranteed, because you know what like it is in the playoffs. If you're sitting in fourth, you've a lot of games to want to try and get to Premier League. So, and it's a big ask. So listen, he's still going along well. That's a good result for him. Yep. Away from home, good point.
Full-time Paisley, Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, full-time Paisley, St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 0. St Mirren fans absolutely delighted. A huge win for them. We said before the game it wasn't about Stephen Robinson. The important thing was what happened during the 90 minutes, and this is a thoroughly deserved victory for Saints, especially the first half performance. Totally dominant. Ahead only through a Jonah Ayunga goal. Should have more. Aberdeen better in the second half, but didn't really look like scoring. And just the St Mirren fans began to worry towards the end. Who else but Alex Gogic popped up with the second goal late on. St Mirren totally dominated the first half. The chances to go into the break more than one up. Liam Donnelly header was touched over Brathwaite. The defender hit the bar and over with another. It was a good chance. Freckleton headed wide when he should have at least hit the target. The deserved goal came in 40 minutes. O'Hara free kick on the right hand side. It wasn't cleared. Johnny Younger picked up the loose ball, cleverly found some space 20 yards out, and his low shot skidded off the surface to Brathwaite's right and into the back of the net. A Bilalevich shot a yard wide was Aberdeen's only shot and goal in the first half. They didn't have a touch of the ball in the St Mirren box. They were so poor, with no surprise. 3 changes at the break by Stephen Robinson. Nisbet, Armstrong and Alessandro on for the front 3, and it was better at the start. Gyamfi shot deflected inches wide, and George looked at the ball. He was really worried. St Mirren not out of the game though, but not in charge like the first half. Aberdeen with their tails up, they fancied an equaliser. Cameron on for Shinnie. His Dons fancied getting that goal. Gyamfi miss-hit cross, nearly sneaked in at the back post, but Jamal George turned the ball over the bar. I said St Mirren really not the same attacking threat. Happens sometimes you're holding on to a slight lead. Jamal George going for a pass back, got the ball away as he slipped, but then when the cross came in, he dropped the cross, and St Mirren fans really nervous. They were desperate for the second goal, and it came in 83 minutes. Dan Lundulu did really well on the left hand side. His shot was pushed wide by Brathwaite. Decent save by the goalkeeper, but from that corner Scott Tander swung the ball in. Alex Gogic outstanding again for St Mirren. Terrific 12-yard header at the top right hand corner, and they needed that. St Mirren now levelling points with Aberdeen, 2 wins in a row, playing better under Craig McLeish. They're on the up, but for Aberdeen, they're in a real dogfight to stay out of the playoff place. They need to play much better than this poor performance today if that is to happen. 1,461 Aberdeen fans. There's hardly any of them left at the end, and that says an awful lot here. Full time in Paisley, St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 0.
And a late one of these for good measure.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs 3, Kilmarnock 0. Really wrapping it up late on. It's a Soto tap in, Martin Boyle's cross, and a very convincing 3 points in the bag, and it moves them to within 3 of Motherwell as well. We'll get the full time stories from them all, but Ante Soto adding one in the 93rd minute, so well done to Hibs, before the other full times come in, just very quickly, how much trouble are Aberdeen in? I mean, well done to St Mirren, but it feels like the Aberdeen decline will get the headlines.
Well, it's been a shocking season. That's why there's a change of manager late on. And Stephen Robinson has not been able to impose himself.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Probably too little, too late. I think almost certainly. But Tawanda Maswanisi, he stretched his lead at the top of the goal scoring charts, if that counts for much. Motherwell have got one back. It is Motherwell 2, Falkirk 3. Raced through the last line, slid it into the bottom corner and scores. I don't think there is much time left though. Full time, Dave Galloway at Hibs.
Yeah, full time Hibs 3, Kilmarnock 0. A wonderful start by Hibs, who cut the visitors open straight from kick-off. A long ball forward was knocked down. Neat footwork from Paslak, and he played Elding in for an easy finish after just 13 seconds. Kilmarnock looked shell-shocked, and the hosts made it 2-0 on 12 minutes. A great ball played in behind. Obita was onto it, and he squared for Paslak to tap the ball home. At this stage, you thought the score could have been anything, but the hosts, they were looking seriously threatening. Tishbola nearly scored an OG when he deflected the cross into Roos's arms. However, Killie did steady themselves. They came back into it, to be fair to them. They thought they'd pull the goal back when Curtis Cooley converted a ball to the back post, but it was ruled out for offside after a VAR intervention. They were looking better though, like I say. They had weathered the storm, and Kiltie tested Salinger from the edge of the box. Kilmarnock were on the front foot going into the second half. Paulworth was about to pull the trigger, but a very good Hanlon tackle indeed denied him. Hugill latched onto a misplaced pass, steadied himself, lined up a shot that blasted well over from some distance out, and Kiltie's well-struck effort was parried away by Salinger. Play swinging from end to end, but quality in the final third was really lacking. Some frantic stuff being played out on the Easter Road pitch. Kilmarnock carved out a good opening with a great whipped cross to the back post from the right-hand side, but Curtis, he wasn't alert enough and he couldn't convert. The chance was gone. Hibs created very little after the interval after such an impressive first half, but at 93 minutes, Boyle crossed for Suto to make it 3-0. David Gray's side have then secured a vital victory to narrow the gap on fourth place here at Easter Road. Hibs 3, Kilmarnock 0.
What about Ibrox though? It's finished there, Gabriel.
Full time, it's Rangers 4, Dundee United 2. A huge and crucial 3 points for Rangers, but it was far from straightforward and very nervy in here at times. Ryan Nadiri and Dujon Sterling had the hosts in control heading into the break, but the outstanding Amar Fata pulled one back from visitors on the stroke of half-time with a well-taken goal. Tello Asgard striked swiftly into the second half, restored the 2-goal advantage, but wasted chances allowed Zach Sapsford to pull one back. And then, when pushing for an equaliser for United and coming so close, Bojan Miovski struck on the counter. Let's start at the beginning. And Nadiri's goal was just before the half-hour mark. It was far too easy from a United perspective. Asgard with time at the edge of the box, a shot high, and the keeper, Ashley Maynard-Brewer, had to do more to punch the ball clearly. Nadiri followed it in and tapped it out from a few yards. The second goal came 10 minutes later. Dujon Sterling turning the ball towards goal with his head after it came in from a throw-in, hit off a United defender, just about crossed the line despite the keeper's best efforts. Amar Fata then scored on the counter in the 45th minute. He drove through a couple of tackles and tucked the ball just inside the far post, and the crowd, Gordon, started to get edgy here at the break. The nerves looked to be settled through Tello Asgard as he turned in a powerful low cross from substitute Jedi Gassama just a few minutes into that second half. And then Yusuf Chimiti, who also came on at the interval, had several huge chances, Gordon, to take the game away from Jim Goodwin's men. But poor finishes, all straight at the keeper really, allowed him to make some decent saves and keep the game in the balance. And even though Rangers were clearly on top, they remained suspect at the back. Fata cutting that line open with a great pass, and Sapsford was there to convert from the pullback. And then on it was United in the ascendancy. You could almost feel where this one was going. 3-3 seemed very realistic, and the chance came with 5 minutes to play. Yuri Yovu with a header that bounced off the post and back out. It seemed to take an eternity to go towards goal. You thought that was the moment for United. Rangers, though, went straight up the other end and converted through Miovski, a finish with his left foot back across goal. What an end-to-end game it was. Just shows that anything can happen here. Nothing is straightforward in this season. United will be proud of their show and giving themselves a puncher's chance, but they'll be guaranteed to finish in the bottom 6 now. It's all about being the best of the rest for them. And for Rangers, it was nervy, it wasn't their best stuff, but it does not matter at this time of the season. The job done, the brilliant home record continues, and they are top of the league for the first time in over 2 years. What a turnaround for Danny Rule and his team, who were 13 points behind the leaders when he took over in October. Now it's over to Hearts and Celtic in the title race, both of tough away games tomorrow. What a few weeks we are in for. Full time at Ibrox, Rangers 4, Dundee United 2.
Rangers fans, what did you make of that? Give us a call. You're top of the table. And finally, Fir Park, it's done between Motherwell and Falkirk.
Yeah, Gordon, Rangers fans happy, but Falkirk fans also very happy here. Motherwell 2, Falkirk 3. What a game. We hoped for goals. We got it, and it's job done for Falkirk. 3 points, a place in the top 6 of the Premiership has been secured. John McGlynn, these players were down at the far end taking the claim of their fans, and every single bit of it is deserved. Barney Stewart, Ben Brogio and the outstanding Calvin Miller scored in what will go down as one of the best performances of the season. Motherwell did fight right until the end. Tamanda Masonisi scored with almost the last kick of the ball, but Falkirk deserved this win. There were question marks over whether they could cope with the step up after successive promotions from League One, but they've been a superb addition to the Premiership. John McGlynn will now look to make the Scottish Cup final. He's eyeing a really special season, but what an achievement to make the top 6. They were excellent today. They came out the traps flying and they were ahead inside 3 minutes. Calvin Miller wins a free kick in the left. He then whips a cross in for Barney Stewart, who scored with a bullet header. He now has 6 goals in his last 5 Falkirk games. Falkirk pushed for a second, but it was actually Motherwell who equalised in 34 minutes. A corner was headed out to Elliot Watt on the edge of the box. His volley was sweet, but Scott Bain won't want to see it again. He should have done better as the ball scrummed through his hands. Elliot Watt was celebrating them, but they also then had his head in his hands before the break after his slack pass back let Falkirk in for a second goal. Calvin Miller, he was absolutely everywhere all over the pitch. He beat Callum Moore to a loose ball and poked a pass to Ben Brogio, who tapped into the empty net. There was never any chance of Falkirk sitting back in the second half. John McGlynn always sends his team out to attack, and they had chances to kill Motherwell off. Calvin Miller hit the bar with a really delicate chip. Ben Brogio passed up 2 chances before Falkirk won a penalty in 62 minutes. Corner at the box, Ibrahim's side fouled Philip Lisa at the corner, and Calvin Miller scored to make it 3-1. Motherwell tried to get back into the game. Scott Bain made decent saves from Elijah Justin to Wanda Maswanisi. Maswanisi then pulled one back, tidy finish right at the end, but it was too late. Falkirk held on for the win, and they are in the top 6. Full time, Motherwell 2, Falkirk 3.
Well done to Falkirk. It's now over to you on 0141 951 1025. What did you make of that today? We've had change at the top for the first time in months. Hearts have permanent residency, it seemed like, at the top spot. Rangers have taken it tonight with that 4-2 win against Dundee United. So Rangers fans, what did you make of it? It was nervy at times, but you've got the job done and you are top. You must be coming out the stadium now. Why not give us a call and let us know how you are feeling? But of course, Hearts fans, you've got the chance to bounce straight back tomorrow at Livy. So thoughts there, please. And Celtic fans, what does this all mean for you? Is it going to have to be perfect? Are you capable of being perfect? Do let us know. There is plenty more happening beneath the title race as well. We mentioned there Falkirk, back-to-back promotions, and now confirmed in the top 6 with a game to spare. A wonderful addition to the top flight. So let's hear from you, Falkirk fans. What about you, Aberdeen fans? How worried are you? Level on points now with St Mirren in just above the relegation playoff spots, but Kilmarnock, you occupy it as a result of losing at Easter Road. So there's loads happening. Give us a call on 0141 951 1025. You can also live stream the show as well, so fire up YouTube or Facebook or wherever you normally watch, and we'll see you there in just a second. Get your calls in, please.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast was brought to you by White and Mackay. A calm head amongst the chaos. 18 plus. Keep the heat and always drink responsibly.
Buzzing for the game this week. I want to hear what my mates are saying. I want to tell them they're delusional. I want to tell them who'll score first. I want to call the half-time score and the full-time score. And when our kid pipes up and says, "Want to bet?" I'll stop. Think about it. Check my limits. Check how much I've played. And maybe I'll think, nah, not today, mate. Sometimes the best bet is the one you don't make. Gamble responsibly. Betfred. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Don't know what it's like in your house, but keeping everyone entertained can be a nightmare. Take the pressure off with EE's award-winning TV and full fibre broadband with Netflix Now, TNT Sports and more. And get their most powerful Wi-Fi 7 as standard, so everyone can stream their films, series and sport at the same time. Switch to EE TV and broadband today.
New BT Group customers only. 62% UK availability. Terms apply.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with White and Mackay, where wit, wisdom and experience still make occasional last-minute appearances. Smoothly does it.
With Betfred, when you bet £10, you get £50 in free bets. So, want to back your new striker to score the first goal? Your midfield maestro to get the assist? Want to say there'll be a header? Want to see their striker caught offside? He was born offside. Want to predict the final score? Or both teams to score? Want to get involved for 90 minutes? Want to nick it in extra time? Want to bet £10 and get £50 in free bets? Want to bet? Betfred. New online customers only. 5 £10 free bets. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Breakups, that is a tricky one. That's why EE is the only major provider who'll give you up to £300 to switch. You'll get full fibre, but you'll also get EE's most powerful Wi-Fi 7 as standard. So the whole house can do more, like streaming that series whilst your work calls stay crystal clear. Switch to EE today.
Up to £300 credited to your EE account. Verify at ee.co.uk/claims. New BT Group customers only. 62% availability. Terms apply.
The all-new, all-electric Toyota CHR Plus. Sleek, stylish and quietly reliable. Available with 0% APR representative with £1,500 deposit contribution and save £1,500 with the electric car grant. Get that Toyota electric feeling. Visit your nearest Toyota centre. Price from 34495. Available on Toyota PCP when financed through Toyota Financial Services by 30th of June 2026. Optional final payment. Indemnities may be required. See website. T's and C's apply.
An engineer round the corner whenever you need. Scottish Gas have over 6,000. En route at speed. Fixing lights that won't light or have started to blink. A pipe with a leak and that weird smell under the sink. If your boiler's kaput and your blue fur needs a rinse, we've got your back to stop that cold water wince. You don't need to be a customer. We can help you too, taking care of things. It's what Scottish Gas do. T's and C's apply. 6,000 engineers correct as of Jan 2026.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here for your calls, so please get them in. 0141 951 1025. It's been a big day. Rangers are now top of the Scottish Premiership. It has been a long, long time since we said that. Hearts have the chance to respond tomorrow, but it is a spot that belongs to Danny Rule's side as things stand due to that 4-2 win against Dundee United. So give us your thoughts there, Rangers fans. You're probably making your way out of Ibrox now. So how was it? Clearly there was a few nervy moments. Was it all about the 3 points? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? Do you believe in the significance of this, of going top? Or is there still a few more twists and turns to come? Let us know. 0141 951 1025. That's the number that you need. Below that, there's loads happening. St Mirren with a big win against Aberdeen. Falkirk securing a top 6 spot. And it's all linked in terms of the title race, because tomorrow, will Hearts respond? They go to the bottom side in Livingston, who've not won since August. Celtic, Martin O'Neill are talking about having to be flawless or almost flawless. Can they be that as they go up to Dens Park, a city that's caused them some problems this season? But before we get to that, Hugh, today was quite something.
Every game has its own headline and story. Rangers top of the league, first time in 2 years. Motherwell lose to a Falkirk side who cement their place in the top 6 under a truly phenomenal manager in John McGlynn. St Mirren beat Aberdeen, making it a great day for Craig McLeish, the interim manager, and a very worrying day for Stephen Robinson, the permanent manager of Aberdeen, as they slip closer to the relegation playoffs. And in Edinburgh, Hibs continued to climb up the league, closing in on Motherwell, and Kilmarnock falter badly in the relegation battle. So you have Kilmarnock, St Mirren and Aberdeen. That's the relegation battle. And you have Rangers top of the league. And you have John McGlynn gaining another distinction as a manager in the latter stages of his career. Now it's over to tomorrow. How much of an effect does Rangers win and Rangers leapfrogging Hearts have on the Tynecastle players as they play Livy? And Celtic, my contention is that Celtic aren't involved in this championship race, but they have the chance to contradict me. They need to beat Dundee. Absolutely need to beat Dundee. Draw as good as a defeat.
Big day. It was always going to be significant if Rangers could go top. Again, we don't know how significant. We don't know what that means till the end of the season. But it's been a long time since we said it. 2 years, in fact, since Rangers topped the table.
2024. All eyes were obviously on Ibrox. It was a bit nervy at times. Obviously, when Rangers have got that 2-goal cushion, you think, right, okay, it's just a matter of time now. They'll go and extend their lead and it'll be a comfortable afternoon. It certainly wasn't, because even at 3-2, Dundee United hit the post, put them under a little bit of pressure. But Rangers responding, as I quite rightly said there, it's all about being top of the league, get the 3 points and then put pressure on your rivals tomorrow. And I'm delighted the fact that John McGlynn and Falkirk have achieved it off their own back today. Going to Fir Park, it was always going to be difficult. Motherwell don't lose a lot of goals there, and they've been absolutely brilliant. Well done and congratulations to them. And then you've got that dogfight down the bottom of the table, and a lot of Aberdeen fans will be heading back up the road just now, and they will be looking and thinking we are in real trouble.
And no, you'll all be getting back in the cars and buses and so on to get home right now, so why not give us a call? Tell us what you saw today. 01419511025, particularly you Rangers fans, because most of you listening would have been at Ibrox with a big crowd there. So give us your thoughts, the significance of going top and what the game was like. Cammy?
Yeah, it was exactly what Rangers wanted today. Was the 3 points, top of the table when the 90 minutes were done. But what a day of football. Again, you look at 4 games in our top flight, 16 goals, more of that between now and the end of the season. So yeah, it was a brilliant day for St Mirren, I've got to say that. It was a big game with a lot of pressure added onto it. Really disappointing for Aberdeen. I think they're in a huge amount of trouble between now and the end of the season. And then Falkirk, I've got to give them a mention. They've been absolutely fantastic this season. Really good. John McGlynn deserves all the plaudits that are coming his way, and all these players as well, because he's got a young squad there, and they've been a great addition since they've came to the top flight. So a brilliant day all round for me.
01419511025. Mark was first through. What's your point tonight, Mark?
Hello, good evening, panel. Hope you're all doing well.
Good, thank you. What are you thinking?
I was just thinking, even if Celtic drop points tomorrow, the league's still on. I feel as if Hearts could drop points before Livy tomorrow. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, you better tell Martin O'Neill, because he said the other day that if Celtic don't win at Dundee, that's that.
Did he say it as strongly as that? I thought he said they had to be nearly flawless.
One of the euphemistic ones about it would be a long way back. That's manager speak for that's that.
Do you see it seriously though, Mark? Like, at what point? Because you're just going to wait until it is arithmetically impossible, then everybody knows. But if Celtic, so let's say they draw tomorrow, they then need to win all of their games, which doesn't necessarily look that likely, and that would still only take them to 80 points. So you think a failure to win tomorrow, you're still going to come away from that game afterwards and think, oh well, we can still win the league.
Well, I watched the Rangers game today, and I just don't think they look very convincing in the past few weeks. I don't think Hearts have looked particularly strong, although they're getting results.
But that's it though, isn't it? For all three, by the way, not just Celtic. Time's kind of running out to worry about who looks convincing and who doesn't. Arithmetic's going to start to really kick in here.
Mark just said it though, didn't he? He just said it though. He said it's about the Hearts have been getting over the line and winning games. So that's what it's about at this time of season.
Listen, where I'll only agree with him slightly is if Hearts had to lose against Livingston tomorrow, right? And you look 5 points, still a game to go before the split. Yes, Celtic are still in it. But if Celtic had to drop anything at Dens after Hearts going to Livingston and winning, I'm sorry, they ain't winning the title.
On the subject of not looking convincing, Mark, last time Celtic were in Dundee 2 weeks ago, didn't look convincing.
Yeah, but you've also got to look at the pitch. Celtic are a ball.
No, you don't. The same pitch for Dundee United, they won 2-0. You can't hide behind pitches. the wind, the rain.
You can probably acknowledge it a bit though, can't you?
Yeah,
In the sense of the
I
surface
think,
is better
I
at
think
Dens.
you can. I think. Listen,
Can't hide behind it.
I'm
Agree
not
with
an
that.
excuse. I'm not making an excuse, Cammy. Right? I'm certainly not. But it played it more of a leveller for me. The pitch, and well done to Dundee United. I thought on the day they deserved it, but the pitch did come into a bit of play. There's no doubt
it did, and I totally agree. But then I think Celtic need to identify that. They know what the pitch is like when they walk out to it. Their manager sees it. Sometimes you need to approach the game differently just to win that game of football. It might not be your style of play, but you need to find a way to win. If you're trying to win a title, you need to go to Tannadice no matter what the pitch is and win the game of football. They didn't do that. They didn't put enough into the game for me, and Dundee United deserved to win that day.
What are Celtic capable of then, Mark? Can you see them? So you think they can get away with not winning tomorrow? They'd presumably need to win all the rest of them thereafter, though, wouldn't they? Can they do that?
Yeah, I think they could. Celtic always turn it on post-split. The past few seasons, like Sir James Forrest, Cal McGregor, they always seem to step up their game. And I feel as if this season, they know what's on the line, they know how to get through it. And I feel like Celtic as a whole can push through it together.
I like meeting life's optimists because Mark's right. If you want to just take a statement and say Callum McGregor finishes season strongly or James Forrest, that's fine, and they've been brilliant, they've been hugely decorated. But this notion that Celtic could go before the break, lose at Dundee United. Mark saying even if they come off the break and lose at Dundee, he thinks that then suddenly the things will just be better
it's not
after the split. That feels really, really far off.
No, it's not going to happen. They're probably Celtic, this squad, now, and I know they've been hit with injuries, and so has every other team, and Celtic have got a massive squad, but I find that their front three is a big problem as well. I don't see guys that are going to bang you goals in that's going to win you the title, unless I'm totally proven wrong. But if they do lose or drop in at Dundee tomorrow, they've absolutely not a chance if Hearts go to Livingston.
In the days when Callum McGregor and James Forrest were getting things done post-split, they were surrounded by really good players.
They're also getting the job done on the back of a good season up to that point. This is where the real test will be about history and proven winners and what they've been capable of, because they're never going to have had to do it from third place.
No,
the first weekend in April.
I think Mark is guilty of not really looking at his team and not really seeing the decline that's taking place and not really seeing the players that Martin O'Neill can't put in because they are so awful.
The thing is, Hugh, you can't lose 2 games to teams in the bottom 6 and still think when the split comes you're going to win the league. It's not going to happen.
Again, they're going to face better teams, so if they don't win, and I'm not saying Celtic aren't going to win tomorrow, and I've not completely written them off. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for them to win the league now. They've put us all in that position with that result at Tannadice. But if they don't win tomorrow, there's no evidence there that tells me they're going to go and beat 5 of the top 6 teams. There's no evidence at all.
Do you think they will win tomorrow, incidentally, Mark? You've given us the scenario that you think they can survive failure to win. Do you think they'll win?
Yeah, I think tomorrow Celtic will win quite comfortably. I feel as if, like I said, they always seem to win when they need to. Although this season's been tough and it's been up and down, I feel like when it comes to the later stage in the season, they get quite up for it. And, I think Dundee United could have been a wake-up call. Well, I hope it is. And I think we'll get 3 points tomorrow.
Right, like Hibs at Celtic Park winning there, was that? Did the alarm go off that day?
I mean, in fairness, that does remain a possibility till we see it tomorrow. You never know.
I fancy Celtic to win.
I was going to say they'd still be favourites for the game tomorrow.
Yeah,
that doesn't change, does it?
And I know that obviously it's a different pitch as well, and I'm not making 100% excuse for a pitch, but I think getting up there with the pressure that they'll be under, they'll know that they can't afford to drop points. I don't think it'll be comfortable. I think they'll need to work very hard for it, but I think they'll go over the line tomorrow.
I'm not convinced because of the poverty within the squad. I think Martin O'Neill, there's no one to score a goal. They really need Nygren to see if he can get his 20th goal of the season, but for me they're mediocre side.
I think they will. I think they'll win tomorrow. I think they'll get over the line. They'll get a result. Whether that's going to be enough to challenge for the league, I'm unsure. because again their form's not consistent enough and they're going to face some big games, but I think they'll have enough to go up to Dundee and win.
Okay, that's tomorrow. What about today? We can look back as well. We'll hopefully hear from some managers between now and 6 o'clock, but I'd love to hear from you, even more importantly, far more importantly in fact than the managers. What did you all make of what you witnessed today? Fraser is a Rangers fan. It's been a long time since you were able to call in top of the league, Fraser. What do you make of that?
It's feeling really good. I've just left Ibrox there. I'm just on my way home, but I feel compared to where we were in October time when Russell Martin was there, I feel it's been a big improvement. Obviously, Danny Rose came in. He's had to deal with the same players, but he's brought in players like, obviously, Robbins wasn't playing today, but he's brought in players that have came in and wanted to play for the badge, came in and gave it their all. And I'm proud to say I'm a Rangers fan again.
I think the consensus today, Fraser, is that Rangers actually played pretty well and should have won comfortably and kind of did in the end, but made it difficult for themselves in moments. Is that fair?
Definitely. I feel like Termiti had a good 2 or 3 chances when he came on. Asgard had a few more to score, and I just feel like even though we didn't take our chances, we still got to cross the line, and that's all you need to do at this part of the season.
Do you think it does kind of stand for something as well, Fraser, psychologically or whatever? You know, we spoke about the teams who go first, the chance to put pressure on the others, all that stuff. Do you think this feel like a big moment going top?
Definitely. I feel like Rangers haven't had the chance to put the pressure on Hearts or Celtic. You've either been playing at the same time or after them. So I feel like this is a big change in the title race, because for once we've got the pressure on them.
My mind goes back to Falkirk, where Rangers will play next weekend. The manager needed a police escort to get out of the stadium safely, and the team bus was blockaded by angry fans. And now look, Rangers could, I underline could, go to Falkirk next week as the league leaders. That's the transformation that has taken place. And for that, Danny Rule, although you can have misgivings about this, that or the other, for that, Danny Rule has to get maximum credit.
Job done today, Gordon.
Yeah, I think a must thing for them was to get the 3 points, go top of the league. What a great boost. Yes, obviously Hearts could regain that tomorrow, no doubt, but it was just concentrating yourself, get the 3 points. If you got a good performance, and apparently Rangers played pretty well at times, one thing that will probably concern the managers a little bit, that Dundee United go to Ibrox and scored 2 and hit the post when the game was finally in the balance at 3-2, but all credit to Rangers, they got up the pitch and they scored goals. I think it's, I keep saying it, I think it's the goal scorers and the team that's going to score the most goals that's obviously got to win you this league. And I look at Hearts, they've got goals all over the pitch. I look at Rangers, they've got guys that are scoring. Nadiri gets his first goal. Chermiti, I'm sure they would love him to chip in with a little bit more. Majowski comes off the bench today and gets a goal as well. They've got goals from set play. My big worry, Celtic, is where that front line's going to get the goals from. I don't see it. But right now, if you're a Rangers fan, and Fraser's quite right, it's been a long time coming for them, so they enjoy it just now. They might not be there tomorrow about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, but they're still right in this, and a lot of people make them favourites to go and win this now.
Yeah, it's a brilliant result. I mentioned it before for Rangers today. Again, when you look at any negatives, I think they played well for large periods. It's when they had control of that game, they're 3-1 up, they should manage it a little bit better, and that's what the manager will be saying. When they play better sides, when you're in that position of strength, you need to manage the game better, not put yourselves under pressure. And again, talking about putting yourselves under pressure, I think they were 3-1 up, and Chermiti has a chance where he's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Then when you're under pressure or you've got moments in the game that you need to score, Rangers are going to need that between now and the end of the season, the top 6 games, that one moment that they need their striker to score. So Chermiti needs to be hitting the back of the net.
Thank you, Fraser. 01419511025. If you're just coming out of a stadium like Fraser was, what did you make of what you witnessed today? Get the thoughts in and we'll speak to you next.
You're listening to the Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast, the home of Scottish football, and it's proudly sponsored by White & Mackay Triple Matured Whisky. Now let me make one thing crystal clear right from the start. If you've tuned in tonight looking for balance, for moderation, or for a gentle exchange of views where everyone nods politely and agrees to disagree, you are categorically in the wrong place. But if you've tuned in because you know Scottish football isn't about balance, it's about belief, it's about tribal loyalty, and it's about being absolutely convinced you're right, even when the evidence is screaming otherwise, then you are exactly where you should be. So get comfortable, pour yourself a dram and brace yourself, because at some point tonight, something you hear will annoy you. This is the Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast with White and Mackay triple matured whiskey. Smoothly does it.
Lots of men out there want to feel more confident in the bedroom. In fact, 1 in 5 men have issues as they get older. That's why MedExpress is here to provide support in minutes through a free online consultation. By completing the short online consultation, they'll suggest the right treatment for your concerns, all from the comfort of your home. And you know you're in the right place. They've been one of the country's leading online pharmacies since 2013 with over 1.5 million customers. Their UK-based clinical team will support you every step of the way and send your medication straight to your door. And the best bit is the whole process is online, so you don't even have to visit your GP. So no more planning or pressure, just confidence when you need it most. Visit medexpress.co.uk to check your eligibility and get 30% off with the code SuperScoreboard. That's SuperScoreboard, all one word, when you check out at medexpress.co.uk.
Babe, it's Jem. Just voice noting you because I'm so busy. I can't even type right now. I'm working on that big presentation for my new launch. I'm making it on Canva Mobile like you suggested. And it's making everything iconic. Sorry it's a bit noisy, babes. Marbs is going off. Anyways, I'm going to ping the presentation to you now so you can see what I mean.
Madam.
Gotta go, hun. Thanks for introducing me to Canva. Love ya.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here. Get your calls in, plenty of time. We're here until 6 o'clock. We'll start hearing from some managers soon, hopefully, as well. But Billy is on the line. How are you, Billy?
Very good after today's result. But first and foremost, if I want to make my point, I'd like to congratulate Falkirk and John McGlynn and getting to where they've actually got to by merit. Not mean be going to one of the probably hardest stadiums in Scotland this year. Not mean and absolutely destroying them.
Yeah, they've been brilliant. They really have been.
They deserve all the plaudits that's gone. I just hope we take their foot off the gas next time.
Yeah, listen, we can talk about Falkirk in depth, I'm sure, very quickly, because I know Billy's got other points. The fact that they... To get back, how many layers do you want to add to it? Back-to-back promotions. They were in League One a couple of years ago, to make the top 6, but then to do it the way they have, so convincing. Like, they've never looked like not being in the top 6. Again, doesn't matter too much. It's results driven, but it's not like one of those teams that they've come in and stunk the place out and managed to kind of, spoil game. They've been brilliant to watch as well. They've adapted.
Unearthed their talent.
Exactly.
Barney Stewart.
So much to like.
Everything about the club is to be admired, and John, exceptional. When we spoke about the Celtic job for next season and his name came up, and we all agreed that probably you're into the world of optics again, and he's a 64-year-old man, and Celtic, the fans will want a sexier appointment, for want of a better word, but the job that he has done is superb.
Absolutely. Let's get Billy to crack on with his other point as well. Billy, you said you were good after Rangers' outcome today. How big do you think it feels going top of the table?
I'm glad we're top of the table. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Just like, say, Andreas Skov Olsen. I don't know. I mean, if he's wanting Rangers to sign him for the amount of money that they're wanting for him, he's going to have to put a hell of a lot more effort in than he did today. It was just an empty jersey. You know what I mean? There was no hunger, there was no chasing after the ball, there was nothing. No wonder he gets substituted.
There's an element of Scottish football in a nutshell about Billy. I mean, it's good to be top of the table, but what about Scov Olsen? How bad was he?
But to be fair to Billy, I think there's enough evidence now to...
I'm not disagreeing with the sentiment. I'm talking about where it sits in your priorities tonight.
Fans have got lots of things to juggle in their own minds. There's no evidence to suggest that Scov Olsen will be at Rangers next season. At the fee that's been spoken about, there is absolutely no hope of him being at Ibrox next season.
The thing is, Hugh,
he's in the wrong movie.
Yeah, I can't disagree with it. Come in with a big reputation. Everybody thought, wow, what a great signing this is. I can't remember me thinking what kind of game he's a good game he's had.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time he actually had a good game. But he seems to get picked week in, week out. Offers nothing just now for me. Maybe just the fact that we're not saying he's a bad player, because his reputation, his career he's had surely shows he's not a bad player. Maybe it's just Scottish football and a club like Rangers don't suit him.
I suppose it shows you, Cammy, you're trying to get your percentages when it comes to recruitment. Not a team anywhere at any time gets 100% of them right. You just need that to sit at a healthy number, and nobody would have predicted that of the January ones he'd be by far the worst. But such is the way. Romans has done well, Chikwani's done well, Nadiri gets his first league goal today, and it means that Rangers can carry his deficiencies, if you like.
Yeah, listen, Scov Olsen was probably the most exciting one. A lot of Rangers fans, when he came in with his CV, where he had been, his pedigree, they were all excited about this player. I've watched him a number of times now. He's not the type of player I was expecting to see, to be honest. I felt as if he was going to have a lot more quality, a bit more pace about him. He doesn't go and beat players. I know Billy's saying that he's not working hard enough. I don't know if that's part of his game, that he's maybe a player that works when he's on the ball, but he's certainly not shown enough just to do that. You need to work on and off the ball in Scottish football, or you need to be really exceptional when you are on the ball. He's not shown any of that. He's been disappointing. There's no getting away from it. Since he's came in, he has been disappointing. I still think the manager's hoping he can show some sort of sign of quality, because he's got to have quality. You don't get that many international caps that he's got if you've not got quality. It's just not happened for him. Sometimes you go to clubs and it doesn't happen for you, so I'm being a little bit disappointed in him.
Billy, do you think Rangers will stay top from now to the end of the season, or are there more twists and turns to come?
No, I think Hearts will go back top tomorrow. I mean, although Libby have had the resurgence, I mean, under Marvin, I still expect Hearts to beat them tomorrow.
It's going to be someday, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
When the post-split, you know what I mean, when things start to take shape.
I noticed as well it's meant to be horrendous weather just about kick-off tomorrow on the Astro and all that. Listen, Hearts are quite functional. They find ways of getting the job done. Back to Hugh's thing, not about excuses, but just if you're talking about ideal circumstances, it's meant to be grim tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, listen, Hearts are in a good place that they've got a manager that knows Scottish football, that knows Scottish weather. Sometimes you need to find a way to win, and that's what I said about Celtic when they went up to Tannadice. You look at that pitch and you say, right, how do we win this game of football? Derek McInnes has been there and done it. He's played through hurricanes. Do you know what I mean? He's been there and had to win games of football, so I don't think that'll affect
this
him
is
too
a new
much.
one. We add that to the list. We need a manager that knows Scottish weather. Yeah. I've never heard that said before.
Why don't they bring Carol Kirkland with them, because she's given up the weather girl job, does she? Go with the Hearts.
I'll take your word for it. Your popular culture knowledge is better. Does that count as popular culture these days? Yeah. I don't know. Thank you to Billy. What about David, another Rangers fan, top of the table? David, what are you thinking?
No, delighted to go top of the table. Gave us a few nervy moments as always. We never kind of make it easy for ourselves. I think we've had some of the chances that we kind of missed today was kind of more worrying. But I keep on hearing people are talking about how, you know, Rangers and Hearts haven't been in this position before. No, but either of Celtic, you know, normally when Celtic get to the split, you know, barring the Stephen Gerrard season, they're kind of out of sight. So there's kind of less pressure on them. Celtic haven't really went into a split when they need to win games. So I think that could be a key factor as well. But I think, you know, as everybody keeps on saying, you know, Rangers and Hearts haven't been there, but Celtic haven't been there either.
No, we'll never do this, but it would be interesting if everybody on all sides would just shake hands mutually and say, none of the teams have been here before, so stop worrying about previous seasons.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Because you do tie yourselves in knots.
Yeah, exactly. You have to isolate this season and what's going on. It doesn't matter who's been where in the past. For me, it will come down to who's got what. Although Chermiti's had a poor day today, Nadiri has scored, Miovski has scored. The Dazzler goes on about Braga and Shanklin. We'll see how they do tomorrow. And there you have it where Celtic fall down.
It's Nadiri's first league goal though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't be too selective with using the weight of that as evidence.
But you've got Nygren on 19 goals for Celtic, and the next goal scorer is Maeda on 8. And he's having a very poor season. Celtic don't have, going forward, the players who can win the title.
David, what did you see from Rangers today that makes you think this can be done? And did you see anything that worries you that it can't?
No, I think it can be done. You know, I think the fact that when you look at the last 2 home games, that's 4 goals. Obviously, you don't want to concede 2 goals. It was a silly goal we lost against Aberdeen. But I think it's the fact that even if you create that amount of chances, you're certainly going to score enough. I thought the Derry in the first half was excellent. I just hope it's not an injury, but off at half time. But I think the chances in the second half, the problem is with Chermiti for me, he does so much brilliant work, and then that chance he'll miss. Whereas you look at Nadiri, I think Nadiri scores the 2 chances that he had in the second half.
I don't think Chermiti strikes me as a natural goal scorer. Some of the goals he scored have been excellent. Remember the overhead kick one at Ibrox as well. But I think when he gets time to think about it, he seems to fluff his lines a lot. I'll be interested in Nadiri. That's a confidence booster. Listen, as a centre forward and you went to a new club, the one thing you want to do is start scoring goals. He's got an important one today. Yes, he was handed it by the goalkeeper's mistake, but that's nothing to do with him. He was in the right position at the right time. He's got an easy tap in. He does work very hard for a team. I've been critical of him because of the fact that I just think he needs to score more goals. And I think with the importance of the next 6 games coming up, if he can start chipping in with the goals as well, because goals comes from other parts of the obviously the team, then Rangers are in with a real great chance of winning this title.
Especially at home though, it doesn't matter who scored. That's 22 league goals in the last 6 home league games, Cammy. Yeah. So if Rangers have deficiencies in different areas, home league goals scored is not one of them.
No, certainly not. They look a real threat at home, attacking threat. They'll be disappointed with conceding 2 goals today, and it could have been more. It was 4 goals. It could have probably been 6 quite easily if Rangers had taken their chances. The one from Chermiti, I think you make a good point, Daz. I think instinctive finishes he will do well. He'll put the ball in the back of net. Today it's played across to him. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. You can see the goalkeeper advancing towards him. Any good striker for me just chips it over him, lifts the ball and it goes in the back of net. And that's going to be the difference between now and the end of the season. If they can get Chermiti scoring these types of opportunities, it'll make a huge difference.
David's feeling pretty good about being top. Thank you to David. What about Ian, who's also a Rangers fan? What's on your mind?
Just obviously heading back from the game, but I just thought overall I was pleased with the performance. But one of the things that I noticed is, and this has happened for a few seasons with Rangers, where when they're on top, they seem to just take the sting right out of the game, and they start to move the ball like quite slow from side to side and to the back. But what was interesting for me was I was watching Danny Rule on the sidelines, and at one point he was literally jumping up and down and screaming at somebody behind him, because it's obviously something that he's trying to stamp out of that team, but for whatever reason they seem to fall back into this not going with the momentum and really killing teams off, and then they just drop back into this really slow kind of labour passing. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that through the game.
I think it's a nervousness, Ian, with everything that's at stake at the moment, and maybe just being a bit stung by the goals that United pulled back.
It could be, but it's been there for longer than the season. And I don't know, I know the crowd get, annoyed, and you can hear them groaning that they want the ball to be forward quicker. But it just seems to happen more whenever we're on top. So we went 3-1 up. we've got the momentum, we're getting in behind them, and then all of a sudden it's like, right, let's just take all the pace out of the game. And then Dundee United come back and get another goal, and then you've got to go again. But it was interesting because as a supporter, you're looking at that thinking, why are they being coached like that? But then when you watch Danny Rule on the sideline, they're clearly not being asked to do that because he's jumping up and down like in pure frustration at how slow, in particular, is John Souttar.
I think you can overdo the forensic examination of it all. I know that we're getting to the stage where one false move and you might be out of the title race. But Rangers have scored 22 goals in their last how many home games?
6 league.
6. Right, 22 goals, almost 4 a game. And they've scored 4 today and they're top of the league. They maybe don't slow down and pass it side to side intentionally. I can't explain all of that. I think we overdo the forensic examination. 4 goals, top of the league, and if Chermiti had been sharper, it would be more than 4. I don't think that merits a forensic examination, and past seasons have got nothing to do with anything.
But not everyone's just a big picture guy like you. If Ian's saying that he thinks Danny Rule wants to see more, but
probably does.
Manuel Fernandes didn't start. Ian's picked out John Souttar as being the culprit according to him. We obviously weren't there. You'd imagine that Manuel Fernandes comes back into that alongside Giga, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think that's the preferred back two just now. I think the two of them have got a good combination together. Look, I just think Rangers, you can't knock them because the amount of goals, as Hugh quite rightly says, they're averaging 4 every home game, which is absolutely brilliant. I just don't think Rangers in a place just now that they're going to be that team that are, for 90 plus minutes, they're going to be on the front foot, they're going to play this fast flowing football. It's just phases of the game sometimes that you get caught up in a little bit and you've got to try and manage it. You've got to give a bit of credit to the opposition. They might tweak 1 or 2 things that makes it harder to play through the lines. But the most important thing just now for any of these teams up the top is keep winning games, because the games are running out. And if you keep winning, as Danny Rule said the other day there in his presser, if we win 7 games, right, it's quite easy to say, they've got to be champions.
Ian, where does your title-winning confidence sit tonight after that?
I mean, I feel that, even though I've kind of been critical of that part of their play, I feel that Rangers are the team that are hitting momentum at the minute. I just feel that there's a lot of things that are starting to click. And the boy Nadiri coming in for me has been a great signing, because I think his movement up front is very similar to what we had with Kemar Roof. He seems to find pockets of space all the time, and I think he offers us something totally different. Like the people have said previously, if we can get Chermiti to actually put the ball in the back of the net, then again he'll add goals to the tally, because he is getting into positions and he is making the goalkeepers work. He's just not quite composed in front of the goal. But I think it'll be interesting to see how Hearts respond tomorrow. But at this moment in time, I feel that Rangers are the team that are gathering momentum.
Thank you very much to Ian. 0141 951 1025. Get the calls in. We'll start hearing from some managers next as well.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part with Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell. We'll try and juggle some calls, hear from some managers. We need to give congratulations to Falkirk. A brilliant season already. They've secured top 6. These are the thoughts of John McGlynn on that achievement.
Incredible achievement, absolutely incredible achievement. I'm so proud of all the players. They've given everything. You've seen that today, and they've been like that virtually the whole season. They deserve to be in the top 6. We've never ever went out and tried to spoil a game, stop a game. We've always been home or away. We went out to attack and then entertain, and I believe we've done that, and we did that here today as well. We tried to do it at Aberdeen. It was a near miss, and then we didn't defend well against St Mirren, and we lost 2 goals, which cost us. But today we've come here, different place to come. Everyone knows the stats. I mean, we were the last team to win here in October, so Motherwell will be going along amazingly well, and they're a great side, and James has done an incredible job, as everyone knows. So that's how big a performance that was today.
I think that's the most important point he makes, that this has been based on positivity. They don't go to park buses, low blocks, high presses, this, that, the other. They go to play football and they are top 6, guaranteed, official, because they're an entertaining football team, and more power to them.
I'm going to contradict myself, because you don't always need a big statement of, best since or worst since, and we leap to that. However, I'll just do it for once. Of all the so-called... Oh, the Nokia, come on.
Answer that, you.
Of all the so-called...
Can I just say something? I've been married to my wife for 55 years.
She'd know what you were up to at 10 to 6
know what I was doing, yeah.
Of all the so-called smaller teams who've made it to the top 6, it must be one of the most impressive. It must be, because of where they've been in the last 2 seasons, in fact last 10, 15 seasons, and as John McGlynn said, the style in which they've done it.
I think that's the most important thing. And do you know something? As much as I didn't want them to win against Motherwell, it was great to see them doing it off their own back rather than depend on Rangers beating Dundee United today. They deserved that. Their football's been brilliant. Their recruitment has been outstanding. Nobody likes going and playing them in their own back door. So listen, the split's brilliant, because I think that is the best 6 teams, and we're in for a really exciting time.
Here's Danny Rule's thoughts on the game, the result which took Rangers top.
Yeah, 3 points I think is the most important thing. The first game after the national break is always a difficult one. You have to find the rhythm. If you take 90 minutes, then our performance was with up and downs. Yeah, at first I was really surprised. It's really since 2 years the first time. And on the other side, most important thing that is that you have still the right mindset. I said this many times. Even you are now top, you have to be the hunter. You cannot try and to keep something. I think this is very crucial. Be on front foot. And if we win 6 games, then we will have something at the end of the season. I'm really convinced. My group of players has the potential to do this.
Last one, Robert. Then if you get plans tomorrow, Hearts and Celtic both play, you want to watch those games? Are you interested at all?
Yeah, I do the same like the last match day. You will smile. I put my phone off. No ticker, no live score. And finally I got a message from my assistant coach, and he said, did you see the result? I said, no, what happens? The result. I will do exactly the same, and maybe 3 times in a row it happens. Let's see. But I'm not available on this time tomorrow. Thanks, good guys. See you.
I wonder what he's doing instead.
Yeah, exactly.
No big oven.
Homes Under the Hammer. Is he watching that, or is that on?
Anyway, let's bring in Andy. How does it feel being top of the league, Andy?
I know 3 points on the table is most important, I think.
What did you make of it today?
Hard in spells. Dundee United done what they had to do. The most important thing I said, we got 3 points for.
Andy's line.
You're getting 3 points is important.
Yeah, Andy, your line somewhere between Ibrox and Falkirk or wherever you are is a bit ropey, but we had the gist of it. Just get those 3 points. You heard Danny Rule there.
Yeah, Danny Rule loves the analogy about the hunter. He mentioned the hunter again.
Now they're not.
But he will continue to hunt down results, and that's the line that he likes to put across. And Andy on the line said it was at times a difficult watch today, but nothing, absolutely nothing, matters any more than 3 points at this stage in the game. That's the way Hearts have to approach it at Livy, and certainly that's the way Celtic have to approach it at Dens Park.
What's today done for your belief that this is a title-winning Rangers team this season, Andy?
To be honest, no. I think we've got a few players who are a wee bit inconsistent, as in Scott Wilson and Asgard. They don't look like title-winning players for myself, but as I said, it's about getting 3 points, and if we win the next 6 games, then also we win the league, but we've got to take it game by game.
Nobody's getting carried away. Too early for that.
Game by game. Yeah, again, you look at he's given Asgard a little bit of criticism.
He gets a goal today.
Yeah, he gets a goal. Scovolson, we've all mentioned him and said that he's not been the player we expected to come, and certainly not hit the heights we expected. But listen, it's all about results. That's what we're going to speak about between now and the end of the season. These top 3 teams is going to be results.
Thank you very much to Andy. Speaking of results, it did not go Stephen Robinson's way. St Mirren beating his new team Aberdeen, which means the sides are now level on points. We don't have too long left, we're running out of time, so I just wanted to go short and sweet when he was asked about getting booed of the St Mirren fans.
You had to endure taunts from the St Mirren fans. Did that hurt, or were you just anticipating that?
Nothing surprised me in football.
It tells its own story.
Football managers being booed is an occupational hazard. It's not a delicate workplace. He left St Mirren and he went to Aberdeen because that was his personal choice. The St Mirren fans are entitled to say, well, you left us at a vulnerable time of the season. And I know he won a trophy by beating Celtic in December. However, at the time they left, the St Mirren fans are entitled to feel peeved. But it was his choice. And if he gets booed inside a football ground, he's had it before. He will undoubtedly have it again. And Stephen, what else did you expect?
My personal opinion is I think it was a wee bit unfair, right? Because what he's achieved at St Mirren with top 4 finishes, won a cup, semi-final this year. I know the league campaign was poor, but let me just say that if I was Stephen Robinson, I'm not really caring if St Mirren fans booed me today. I've got more to worry me with my own side.
Yeah. Right, on to tomorrow then. First up will be Hearts. They have been top for months and months and months, and now they're not. How will they respond against the bottom side Livingston?
I think it'll be a really tough game for Hearts tomorrow, but I think they'll go back top of the table and they'll win the game.
Shankland and Devlin back into the starting 11, would we say?
Yeah, guaranteed that. I totally agree. I think that Big Marv's got a little bit of a tune out of Livingston. They're at home, the conditions will probably be terrible. But I do think with the importance of the game, I think Hearts will have enough, especially the front two.
I think when you're playing a team rock bottom of the league who have had one win all season long, and that was in August, if you don't beat them, then you've just shot yourselves in the foot. That's what Hearts have to live with now.
Think they will win?
Yes, narrowly.
And then on to the City of Discovery. It's not been a good venue for Celtic, neither of the stadiums on that street.
No.
You don't hold out much hope for them, I can tell. I can see that look in your eyes.
No, I don't. I go back to players. They, for me, Celtic don't have the quality at the minute to win the league. I think they'll draw tomorrow.
I think that it'll be a narrow win for Celtic. I think it'll be difficult, but I think they would take that 3 points just to keep themselves in there. Anything dropped tomorrow, whether they draw or they lose, they can say goodbye to the Premier League.
Some of the same issues. I mean, who's going to lead the line? Is it back to Daisen Maeda, Tanetki and Yang offsides? Presumably Colby Donovan plays.
Yeah.
Too early for Alistair Johnston.
Yeah.
No Julian Araujo.
Listen, they've got problems. They've got problems, but they need to find a way to score goals. They need to find a way to win the game of football tomorrow. That's most important. Celtic just need to hang in there, get 3 points, hang in there till the split, and then give themselves an opportunity to make something happen. I think they'll have enough tomorrow. I really do. I think they'll have enough. It'll be a difficult game, but they'll get over the line and get the 3 points.
Well, that's pretty much that. I think that sums us all up. It's been quite an exciting day already. Well done to Falkirk again. They're the ones that have sealed something tangible, secured a top 6 spot with a game to spare, with an excellent 3-2, I should say, win at Fir Park. Yes,
what do you think my wife thinks I do?
Well, to be fair,
maybe she's on for a point.
Maybe she wanted to take umbrage with your title predictions. But anyway, we are out of time, as you can hear. So well done to Falkirk securing top 6. Was it a significant day? How big will it turn out to be at the end of the season in the title race, with Rangers going top, and it is heating up down there in the battle to avoid the relegation playoff spot? Kilmarnock are in it after their disappointing defeat at Easter Road, but things looking worrying for Aberdeen and Stephen Robinson. We're not even close to done, as those 2 big title games tomorrow that we've already discussed, and the guys will keep you covered 4 o'clock till 7 tomorrow evening on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. I will speak to you on Monday night from 6, and the GBX is up next. Have a good one.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard podcast was brought to you by White and Mackay. A calm head amongst the chaos. 18 plus. Keep the heat and always drink responsibly.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
A Rayo original podcast.
I'm Catherine Ryan, back for season 3 of my podcast, What's My Age Again? Join more celebrity guests as they take the test to find the difference between their biological and chronological ages.
That's good.
With guests including Laura Whitmore, Jimmy Carr, Joanna Page, Joe Lycett, Chloe Burrows, and Ruby Wax.
Oh.
What's My Age Again?
Really?
Find it on the Rayo app, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts, with new episodes every Tuesday.